Good morning, and welcome to this early Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Odon here in the Tri-State Traffic Show Traffic Center, and we welcome you to the big broadcast here for June the 7th, 2022. Just another gorgeous start. Let me just take a look at our readings here in the traffic center. 58 degrees and clear, so just a beautiful start to this early Tuesday morning. Hopefully everyone had a fantastic Monday yesterday. John Rocco will be around in about less than 15 minutes with our latest forecast for the tri-state area. Also coming up in the 8:30 half hour, we have a special TJ, as they call it, traffic jockey. We'll give some more details as we go through the show, but that should be a lot of fun, giving us a hand with the traffic in the 8:30 half hour. I'm also going to sit down and chat for a few minutes as well, so it should be quite enjoyable. I know you're going to like it. Yeah, so that's kind of what we've got going here this morning. And boy, that alarm came quick this morning at 6 o'clock. You know, it's bam. Oof. After last couple of months of not really waking up this early, it's certainly definitely an eye opener. So I hand it to everybody who gets up and gets up out early, gets the kids ready for school and that kind of thing, because it certainly takes quite a bit to do that on a regular basis. But, you know, school is coming to an end here shortly in another two and a half weeks or so. So that is good. It's also going to make things better for traffic in certain parts. You know, schools kind of rule the traffic morning commute. So that is something we're definitely going to keep an eye on here in the Tri-State Traffic Center. All right, so with that said, let's just get things set up here for the morning rush hour. Let me put my banners in here this morning, and we will get off and running. Let's head over to, where's the banner? There's the banner. And we want to take off this one, take that off. And don't forget, we are proudly sponsored this half hour by the Cranford Vanilla Bean Creamery, 22 North Avenue West in beautiful downtown Cranford, New Jersey. Ralph's phone number is 908-272-3000. And you can find more information on the shop at CranfordVanillaBeanCreamery.com. And don't forget to subscribe, follow, and like the Tri-State Traffic Show on YouTube, as well as our Facebook page. We're trying to get as many YouTube followers as we can. It doesn't cost you anything. Once again, it's a free service. You just subscribe to that, and you're off and running with us, and you'll get notifications when we go live. Again, we're live every Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. until 9 a.m. Now, Thursday and Friday may only go till about 8:30 or so. I have another show, NJ On Air. You want to make sure you follow them on YouTube and Facebook that I'm now a part of. So that's some good news. Doing some more morning traffic into the mid-morning hours or so. So just have to set up things just a little bit. So we may finish up like 8:45 or so. I just need enough time to dial into their system. So with that said, as I've rambled on for 5 minutes and you're here for the traffic and not really looking for me, right? So let's go full screen with the incidents here this morning. We got some issues in Elizabeth. This is on North Avenue, Kapowski Road in Elizabeth, lane down there with a crash. The turnpike northbound exit ramp to 287 from interchange 10 is blocked, and then there was an earlier issue on Route 3 east of 21, but that has been reopened. So let's go towards that interchange 10 plaza. I think they have it here, and that's exactly what they are. What we're seeing, it's right in the center left of the screen. This is actually getting out to what it actually would put you on Woodbridge Avenue on the approach into the Raritan Center here this morning. So just be mindful of a little bit of a backup. Let's just go down in that area just to check it out in real time. Yeah, it's not. Again, it's going to take another 5, 6, 7 minutes or so coming off of the turnpike here at interchange 10 for 287. It's really that exit ramp for Woodbridge Avenue as you come around the corner, according to what I'm seeing for the cameras here, because I used to work in the Raritan Center for years. So this is where you get off for the Raritan Center and making your way through that area. So it's a little bit sluggish because that left lane, it may even be onto the shoulder there, is out of service. at this point with this crash early on a Tuesday. So again, something out of the ordinary, and that's when you come to the Tri-State Traffic Show for these kind of issues. So looks like they have the vehicle up on the flatbed, so this could be cleared here momentarily. So again, just kind of keep that in the back of your mind. Our comment section is open now. We're on Facebook as well as YouTube. We're also streaming to Twitter as well. We say good morning to everyone watching on Twitter. Please leave a comment on the Twitter page. I will get back to you after the show. Unfortunately, I can't read. Not able to read the comments here in just the program that I'm using. They're working on it, but it's still maybe down the road just a little bit. So just keep that in mind as well. All right, so Interstate 80 starting to see a little bit of sun glare out there. It's a beautiful start. It's nice and crisp and clear, 58 degrees. Ooh, that's nice. You're gonna be looking for this in about a month when we get into July, when it's 76 degrees and the humidity is about 85%. So Interstate 80 a little bit busy here, Route 80, as we call it here in the Garden State. A little bit heavy here from exits 29 through 30. And then again, into Route 15, some more crowding into Parsippany, but that still is in a fairly good shape. We have some delays here along 21 into Route 20 and Route 46, but 80 through Patterson is good. So is your Garden State Parkway. That's crisp ride. The Parkway itself is a little busy into Bloomfield out by exit 149. But again, what else is new, right? We got the cameras here. Let's just go to the Parkway camera very quickly here this morning. Let's just see here. Where is the Parkway? There it is. Bring this up. Unfortunately, I was hoping that Apple was going to I can't say they didn't, because they did. They introduced the new M2 chip, but that's for the MacBook Air, and I believe one of the smaller MacBook Pros, but nothing for the Mac Mini, which is disappointing. Hopefully something will be coming sooner than later, maybe just a refresh on the website or something, because the Mac Mini definitely is one of the ones that I don't want to get caught behind the curve here by buying something that's 2 years old. So but I digress, right? So there's the ride in Bloomfield. This is out by Bloomfield Avenue. North is on the very far left coming towards us. That's northbound that heads away. So starting to see, some more crowding into the old Essex Toll Plaza. But again, nothing out of the ordinary for this time of the morning. The Bay Extension is really heavy here. This is all just sun glare. And then our crossings, let's just check out the crossings, shall we? See what we've got cooking here this morning. Let's wait for that to load up. So 7:09 is our time. Again, it's fairly quiet. On average, we'll go a half an hour across the board. Even though the Holland Tunnel says 25, it's going to be probably slightly longer. So, again, we're averaging it out about 30 minutes across the board at all of the Hudson River crossings. Okay, there. A little crowded here north on 287. Just some building traffic in towards the Boundbrook area, getting out to Route 28. But again, what else is new, right? That's usually happening there at this time. Parkway looks beautiful through Toms River, Lakewood, all the way down through Atlantic City and Cape May. We also have some delays here this morning along 55 and 42. But when is that never a problem? But the Walt Whitman, Ben Franklin Bridge. Ben Franklin looks a little slow here. Let's just check that out. Yeah, just a little bit slow here this morning once you get into Philly. So again, just regular traffic for this time of the morning. We'll give you our first check of New Jersey Transit. See if anything is happening here. Let's check that out in real time. And we've got the Newark Light Rail, 687 departure from Grove Street and the 721 departure from Newark Penn are canceled for operator availability, but everything else is good. Let's go to Path here this morning and check out that deal. We will go to, it was 2 hours ago, Newark Old Trade resuming normal service. Port Authority Police resolved an earlier investigation at Newark. So that's probably more than likely on or close at this point. So I wouldn't think that that's going to be any type of a big deal. And let's check out the SEPTA trains, the Wilmington to Newark, outbound elevator. Okay, it's an elevator issue. That's not going to be that troubling of a situation. Dale Paoli, is that how you say it? I'm not sure. Never been on the SEPTA that far. Outbound high level platform at Overbrook Station will be out of service on June the 7th. Okay. Alrighty then. So, all right. So, with that said, let's go to the New York City issues here. Before we hit weather here, we're going to try to stay on time so we can get to our guest, TJ, coming up. So, a little bit of issues here. East 13th Street, there's a water main break there in University Plaza. That's in Manhattan. Vernon Boulevard in Queens, that's another water main break. Everything is shut there. And then the RFK, just looking at some normal delays. All right. So let's kind of spin it over towards Staten Island here this morning and see what the vibe is. Staten Island Expressway, just bumper to bumper traffic from the Goethals all the way out to the Verrazano. That's just a lot of volume and a lot of sun glare as well. Then it's okay as you get into Fort Hamilton Parkway. Even through Industry City is not bad at all. It's really just as you come around the curve across the top of the world into the Prospect out to Hamilton Avenue, just our normal drill there. West on the Belt, a little heavy here at Flatbush Avenue, so look for that. And then we've got more traffic here, obviously, in Queens, west on the Belt, passing Kennedy, and then the northbound Van Wyck is heavy in the Hillside Avenue. South is a little sluggish, but northbound, obviously, the worst of it. Westbound on the Grand Central itself is heavy from the Clearview all the way out to Kew Gardens, both ways to the Jackie Robinson. A lot of volume there getting through Forest Park Drive, and then north on the Cross Island. A lot of sluggish traffic from the southern up to the LIE. Then the LIE is heavy right out of Long Island from Little Neck Parkway all the way out to Woodhaven Boulevard. Eastbound heavy at the Clearview this morning. The Cross Island Whitestone Expressway combination near the Whitestone Bridge is busy. The Midtown Tunnel, we'll put it about 5 to 8, about 10 at the Queensboro Bridge, about 5 minutes here at the Battery. The lower East River crossings here are in good shape. Southbound BQE is heavy from Queens Boulevard all the way down into the Williamsburg, then further south of that into the Brooklyn Bridge is a sluggish ride. Let's go to the east side. Lots of volume here on the FDR as you go south of 125th all the way out to the mid 50s, but the west side looks pretty good. Just off the George Washington Bridge is really the biggest mess. And then westbound on the Cross Bronx is heavy here this morning as you get out of the interchange on over to 3rd Avenue, and then south on the Bruckner is heavy at the Hunts Point Drawbridge, Throgs Neck, and Whitestone Bridge are also a little bit busy. Southbound Bronx River Parkway, passing the Bronx Zoo and the Botanical Gardens is heavy. So is the Deegan straight out of the Moshaloo out to the Cross Bronx. So I think we've hit that in pretty good shape here this morning, kind of normal stuff, no major issues. We're going to stick to the schedule and go to weather here in just a minute. We've got some delays in the Staten Island Railway. So the 703 trip from St. George to Great Kills is not going to run. The 701 trip from St. George to Tottenville will make all those local stops. So look for that. Go to the rails, take a look at Long Island Railroad and Metro North, clean and green, and on or close to schedule system-wide. All right, so we're exactly 7:15. Can you believe it? I've actually hit the post here for the first time in gosh knows how long, right? All right, so we're going to get to our weather forecast with our meteorologist in training, Mr. John Rocco, over at Rutgers University. Let me pull up John's lower third here. There we go. And Johnny's finished up his studies here for the semester, so that is great news for us. So we welcome him to the Tri-State Traffic Show. Yesterday was his debut, did a fantastic job, and he is back here this morning. Again, we're doing weather at 15 to 45 past the hour. So with that said, let's send it over to the Weather Center and John Rocco. Johnny, good morning, buddy.
Good morning again, Don. On Tuesday morning, we had another stellar day on Monday to kick off the new work week, but things are going to be changing. It's pretty decent out there this morning. Some sun, some clouds. Not too bad. Maybe bring the sunglasses along with you for the morning. Notice I said only the morning because things are going to look a little bit different here as we go into the evening hours by the time you're coming home from work or school or wherever you are during the day today. So let's start you off with the commute forecast in New Jersey. As always, Newton starting around 57 degrees this morning, getting to about 62 by 8 o'clock. 62 is the starting temperature in Newark, getting to about 66 by 8 o'clock. Moving down into Ocean County, Lakewood starting around 62, getting to about 68. Look at that, Cape May, 66 to start you off this morning, getting to about 70 degrees for around 8 a.m. As we move it into New York City, Great Kill, Staten Island, starting around 62 this morning, getting to about 66 by 8 o'clock. 63 in Flatbush, Brooklyn, getting to about 66 around 8 o'clock. Moving up into Manhattan, Hell's Kitchen, starting around 62, getting to about 68. And Morris Park over there toward the Bronx, starting around 61 degrees. This morning, you'll be around 66 by the time we get to about 8 o'clock in the morning. 62 in Islip, out on Long Island this morning, getting to about 66. Pretty consistent temperatures there in Westbury, Farmingdale, and Shirley as well, getting to about 66 by the 8 a.m. hour. Port Jefferson will start you off at 63, getting to about 68 by around 8 o'clock. And moving north into the Hudson River Valley, we'll start you off with 61 in Yonkers, getting to about 64 by 8 o'clock. A little bit cooler there in Monroe, 59 starting off this morning, moving into about 62 degrees by 8 o'clock. Patterson, also on the cooler side, 59 to start you off, getting to about 63, 60 in Middletown, ending up around 64 by 8 o'clock. And for our friends in Western Connecticut, pretty consistent temperatures along the Long Island Sound there in Norwalk, Bridgeport, and New Haven, starting around 62 degrees, getting to about 64 by around 8 o'clock. A little bit cooler up in elevations such as Torrington, 59 to start you off here this morning, getting to about 63 by around 8 o'clock. A little bit warmer toward the city of Hartford, 64 to start you off, getting to about 68 during the 8 o'clock hour. So today we'll increase the clouds, and yes, we have some rain showers on the way by the late afternoon, and probably by the evening commute, most areas are going to be dealing with those rain showers. So you're going to want to bring the umbrella as you head out the door this morning. So sunglasses for the morning, umbrella for the evening, and take it easy out there. Roads are probably going to be getting a little bit wet by the time you're heading home from work. 77 for your high in Central Park today. Trenton around 82, same toward Cherry Hill. A little bit cooler at 75 in Cape May. Islip around 73. New Haven, Connecticut at around 75 degrees. We're going to take a look at that 7-day forecast coming up in just a little bit because things are going to get unsettled over the next few days. So you're going to want to stick around for that. Don, we'll send it back over to you.
Thank you, John, and very good and happy Tuesday to you, my friend. Yeah, so definitely bring along the umbrella, as Johnny had said. So roadways could be a little bit wet later on. You know, we've been spoiled the last couple of days with all of this great weather, this golden sunshine. And again, John will be back here at 7:45 with another check and an exclusive 7-day forecast for the Tri-State Traffic Show. So, you know, with the good weather, you know, it's just been absolutely bonkers at the Cranford Vanilla Bean Creamery. We have to tell you that because it was lines out the door this weekend. I was over there on Saturday, and I mean, Ralph must have been there until like 2 a.m. or something. I'm not sure. I mean, this guy works like 18-hour days, 7 days a week for like 9 months out of the year. So, just first of all, it's an incredible work ethic. It's unbeknownst to anybody, but I mean, it was just everybody that was outside in downtown Cranford, out by the clock, everyone had ice cream. I don't think I saw anybody without an ice cream. That's how popular this is. And again, friends, we're only at June, what was that? June 4th, really just like in the beginning of the season. Wait till we get to the vacations and get into July and July 4th and August. It's going to be just absolutely nuts. So once again, we thank Ralph over at the Cranford Vanilla Bean Creamery for the sponsorship for this half hour coming up on 7:20. He is located again, as I mentioned, beautiful downtown Cranford, right off the historic Raton Valley line of New Jersey Transit. And, you know, he makes some of the best ice cream around. We've got vanilla bean, we've got chocolate silk. You know, those core three, the chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry. Also has the party cake, one of my favorites. Actually, my nephew just had some of that this weekend as well. And he said he really enjoyed the party cake. He said it tastes like an ice cream cake, all kind of mashed up, and a yellow birthday cake kind of a deal. So you get the approval from get the approval from an 8-year-old, and you're in pretty good shape, right? So we've got cotton candy, mint chocolate chip, chocolate peanut butter swirl, cookie dough, vanilla chocolate chip. So you name it, Ralph's got it. And again, he makes these awesome cakes. We're having a lot of graduations, birthdays, and so forth. Even just for a summer party that you're looking to have, really in a fantastic addition to the dessert tray. There it is, between 7 and 8 people for a small round. Large sheet cake can go 30 to 40. There's another picture of some of the great cakes that the Cranford Vanilla Bean Creamery has to offer. So certainly get out there and hit up Ralph for any of your birthday cake needs, because I mean these ice cream cakes are all handmade, homemade ice cream. And he can make any of these cakes with the anything that's in the dipping case. That's the case with the hard ice cream and so forth. So again, it may take a little longer for him to do that, but certainly just give him a couple days or maybe even a week. Just put that order in, and he'll have it all ready for you to pick up when you need your birthday cakes. He also makes these great cupcakes as well. Really great for the kids or anybody, really, just a kind of light, simple treat. A little bit of vanilla cake with the vanilla ice cream. It has the rainbow sprinkles, chocolate sprinkles, whatever you'd like. So just really a great addition to the dessert tray. Also, please, I recommend trying out the sorbet, because the sorbet is just absolutely fantastic. The peach mango is probably my favorite out of everything that Ralph makes, and this is new to him. I don't know if he had that last season, but it's certainly new this season. And very light, refreshing. There's a little creamy taste to it. Oh, it's just spectacular. Spectacular. As Walter Staub from A Taste of History says, spectacular. So get out and certainly support our sponsor, Cranford Vanilla Bean Creamery. Once again, you can contact Ralph. We never show Ralph. There, let's just. I think Ralph's picture is on the website. There he is. There's my buddy Ralph, looking good in his CVBC t-shirts. Let's see if I can get a hat or something to put on the set, or a t-shirt or something. I have to get some stuff to put on the set next to the cars. But there's my buddy Ralph, straight out of Queens, New York, and is in his 13th season here at the shop. Again, you can find him on North Avenue in Cranford. That's 908-272-3000. He's open from 12:30 to 9:30 Monday through Thursday until 10, Friday and Saturday until 9 on Sunday. And we thank Ralph for being a proud sponsor of the Tri-State Traffic Show. All right, 7:24 now is our time. Let's go out towards Long Island. We go to the eastbound side of Sunrise Highways, Heavy Hampton Bays, out to Southampton into Watermill, but that is just regular traffic. A little delay here along 24 getting into Riverhead. West on the LIE this morning, we're kind of back in full force here, going west of 112. Just some pockets of volume in towards Vets Highway, and then more into 111 through the side of the coast. It's heavy out towards Deer Park Avenue, and then heavier here as you cross into Nassau County at exit 44. But then after that, things pick up the pace until you get out to just about exit 39 and the Northern State Connector. Southern State, a little busy here at 231, and then you're okay into 109, but just as you go west of the Bethpage State Parkway all the way out to the Wantagh is heavy, and then really jam both ways here out through Hempstead in either direction from 18 through 22. North on the Meadowbrook is heavy into the northern, so is the Wantagh, very slow ride heading out to the Northern State as well. And then that Northern State again is just jammed here from the Wantagh straight into the Grand Central, and then heavy here from about Lakeville Road or so on over to Little Neck Parkway on into Queens. So we saw Long Island Railroad there, so that is in pretty good shape. Let's just check the North Shore. It doesn't look like there's much happening here this morning. 25A, 25, 347, a little busy there going west out to Smithtown, Center Reach. 25 all the way out to the North Fork, we are clear. All right, so with that said, let's go to Connecticut, and we're going to try to stick to the schedule here, hit Connecticut Hudson Valley in the next 4 minutes this morning. Again, our comment section is open on Facebook and YouTube, as well as on to Twitter. Again, can't get the comments on Twitter, but we will be able to get back to you after the show. So it looks like just our typical delays here across the board in southwestern Connecticut. Just a ton of traffic. It seems like every morning we see the exact same thing. Straight out of exit 29 through 22, out through 16. I think there may be something going on heading north, but no, it doesn't look like it. As you get in towards Route 7, so that is about exits 11 through 14 or so. A little heavy here heading northbound. And then further south, the typical stuff here are normal delays heading south of about exit 8 on over to exit 6. Merritt Parkway, just a mess of traffic getting south of 49 into 48 through 46 through 44 and then past the no exit zone into 41. All the way out through 39 here in Route 7, that area, and then down through about exit 36. So again, just our normal fare here in southwestern Connecticut, nothing out of the ordinary. Up towards Danbury, 84 west of the Brewster is heavy, so a southbound 684 out of Brewster, and then west on 84 is heavy into the Route 7 interchange. Let's go over to Lower Westchester, shall we? And still in fairly good shape this morning, although the thruway just at the Yonkers Bronx line, that's where it starts to build a lot of volume here. South of the Cross County, north on the Hutch is busy, into the Cross County, New England Thruway is good. Starting to build some moderate, a little bit of light volume here, I should say, on the Hutch north into Weaver Street. 287 end to end, we are clear. The Rockland County ride, again, our regular fare here, getting south of the Parkway Connector 14 on over to the Cuomo Tappan Zee Bridge. So nothing out of the ordinary there. We go to the Thruway in Woodbury, 84, Route 6, 84 across the Beacon Bridge. We are clear. 84 down through Brewster is good. And again, I showed you the delays here along 684. Okay, so let me just call up the Hudson Valley incident page just on the chance that I missed something. I don't believe I did. This is up in Columbia County. That's Route 9, so that's a little bit out of our viewing area. Although when you're on YouTube, the whole world is your viewing area, right? So 7:28 now is the time. Already now up to 60 degrees across the Tri-State Traffic Center. Let's bring up some of the observations. Get that right. Talk this morning. So we're going to go North Jersey, South Jersey, and again, we'll get another, let me just bring this up here to the top. We'll go here and we go up here. We got to move that there. There we go. So we'll start here in the north. Again, these observations are about 45 minutes old. So again, already 66 at EWR, a little bit cloudy there, 63, 65, mid-60s or so here, as Johnny had said, out on Long Island. And we got fair skies here in Central Park at 65 and 55 in Somerville. Ooh, that's nice and cool, right? 63 in Teterboro and 60 in Mercer County in Trenton. To the South Jersey and the Philadelphia area, Allentown, Lehigh Valley at 63 and overcast. PIA coming in at 64, mostly cloudy. Trenton, again, you saw that. Somerville and Mount Holly coming in at 61 and mostly cloudy conditions. Need to get the observations for Hudson Valley. I got to see if I can work on that for us. See if I can get that working for us as well. But so that's just some of the temperatures here this morning. Welcome to the Tri-State Traffic Show down here in the Tri-State Traffic Show Traffic Center, and hopefully the lip sync is probably not that great because this computer is starting to overheat again. We've got to do something about this. Apple disappointed me a little bit by not introducing that M2 Mac Mini, but we'll see in the next couple of days, whatever, or next week, and see what the situation is there. So again, 7:30 time. Welcome to the Tri-State Traffic Show. We appreciate you watching us and supporting us here in our endeavor to bring you the traffic and weather station for the morning ride on our social media channels, YouTube, as well as onto Facebook. Certainly go out and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you can. That'll really help us out a lot, and also like the Tri-State Traffic Show Facebook page as well. We're also streaming to Twitter, so go ahead and leave a comment there we'll get back to you after the show. So 7:31 is our time. It's a fairly kind of normal commute, and we'll check in to see what that issue on the turnpike there in Edison is doing to 280 to the Ryan Center approach here this morning. But we have to tell you about our sponsor for this half hour is my friend Darley Newman. She is the proud sponsor of the 7:30 half hour with her show called Travels with Darley on PBS Create. And there's Darley up there in the upper right-hand corner. But if you're unfamiliar with Darley's show, there she is. Travels with Darley, again, a proud sponsor of the Tri-State Traffic Show on Amazon Prime, PBS Create, as well as Wonderum and Ovation TV's Journey. You can find more information on her website at darley-newman.com. And at 45 after John's weather, we'll play a little segment, a little piece of the actual show if you're unfamiliar with Darley's travels. But does an amazing job, travels all around the world, so you can travel around the world with her. It's been so important to see places outside of your local area, obviously with the pandemic and the lockdowns and all that stuff. So we thank Darley for heading out and showing us some of the great parts of the globe for you to go out and enjoy. All right. So with that said here this morning, let's get back to the issues here on this early Tuesday morning. And we got some problems here along Route 18. This is going to be at Tice's Lane or Ticey's Lane. I'm not sure how they exactly call it. I've been here in New Jersey all my life, and I call it Tice's Lane. But if I'm wrong, please put it in the comments. We've got a lane out there in East Brunswick. And Alexandra, good morning to you. Smooth commute to New York City. Thumbs up there. That's what we like to see, right? Awesome stuff. Very, very good. Just if you can tell me how the audio sounds here. Made some more changes. And what I'm doing is I'm stopping the camera, and I think that's going to help smooth out some things along with the computer and the websites and stuff like that. So if you can just throw me a line in there, just let me know if the audio is still with us. I think it is, but sometimes this program won't tell me at times. So, but anyway, I'm going on the fact that it sounds like there's audio there. All right, so 18, audio sounding good. Bernie Wagon Blast. Aha, yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Awesome. Thank you, Alexandra. And we'll be hearing from Bernie very shortly. Is that, if that's not a tease, I don't know what is, right, in the TV business. But yes, Bernie will be joining us here at 8:30. Might as well give it away now. He's our guest, TJ, and Bernie, one of the original founders, I believe. I hope I got that right, of Shadow Traffic, if you're in this area, and just one of the real pioneers of traffic reporting on the radio for forever. So it's going to be a fun half hour at 8:30 talking to Bernie, and we'll see what he's been up to over the last couple of years. Now, speaking of LaGuardia Airport, the reason I say that is because if you go and you use the air train, I believe at Newark and also on some of the subways, Bernie. Probably know Bernie better than I do because you hear him every morning. But I digress from that. So we'll get into all of that at 8:30. So let's go to 18 here this morning as you travel north in the East Brunswick area. I think this is just before Edgeboro Road. We'll see if the camera at Edgeboro, if they've zoomed things in. Oh, yes, they have. There it is. So it's just before Edgeboro Road, we'll call it, out by the shopping center. So that northbound traffic is really just jammed up through. Again, the lights are helping out, kind of moderating traffic just a bit for us on 18. But let's just go here. Let's just see what that delay looks like. Where are you? 18. There it is. Again, it's just a minor backup, but again, it's just you got to just watch here. Just give yourself a couple of minutes of extra time here out of South River, trying to make your way in. So the turnpike out to Narracon Plaza, eventually getting up into New Brunswick. So just a little bit slow. Hopefully they get it out of the way here in short order. Let's go back into the Jersey situation at hand, see if anything else has popped off here this morning. Let's see. That's the Lincoln Tunnel. That's coming back to New Jersey, so that's not going to affect the morning ride inbound. There's that Turnpike situation. That's where we wanted to go. Turnpike. Dun, 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 dun. American Gladiators. See, nobody even got that reference the last time. Where's everybody in their TV knowledge like me? I don't know. Maybe it's just the times I just don't have much to do. I don't know. But oh gosh, we should have a TV trivia contest here, right? See, we're going north of 10. So it's really again, it is gone. It was right in here. Again, it was for the exit for 287, 440, and the Raritan Center. It was taking out that left lane, but that is gone. So dare I say you're seeing and hearing it first here on the Tri-State Traffic Show. It's possible. So again, it's still on the list, but that will come off here shortly. And then eastbound 3, they're saying something that was out by 21, but I think that's been gone as well. Outer Ridge Crossing, seeing a lot of traffic getting into Staten Island. Some of that, I believe, is probably some sun glare working into the picture. So again, be careful there. 287 at Edison is building 1 to 2, and then further out down the line or up the line, however we want to call it, between exits about 10 through 13 into 28, and then the Parkway through Union County. Seeing a lot of volume here this morning, getting north of 136 in Cranford, up to 138 in Kenilworth, then through the long-term construction in Union. The Turnpike also is fairly busy, getting through 14. East on the Bay Extension, you can see it here, is all loaded up. Again, that's all going to be sun glare this morning. Both ways of 280 busy at the Stickle Drawbridge. And then the Parkway is just, really banged up bumper to bumper traffic here, getting out through exit 148, 149. Still a little bit slow here along Route 3. Let's just go to the cameras here. I don't think that camera is actually working. Had little to no success with the camera here. And as I was talking to Bernie, and Bernie does a lot of stuff with transportation. That's been his area of focus for forever, and he puts out a really cool transportation newsletter. We'll talk to him about that as well at 8:30. But we were chatting yesterday, kind of a little pre-interview, and we were saying about how traffic reporting and the resources have come such a long way. Let's just say even in the last 10 years, let alone the last 20 or 30 or so. We have all these cameras. You can see this is quasi HD camera and so forth. So, it's just amazing. As you saw, you can see from the New York City cameras that, there could be 1,000 or more cameras. I'm not even sure. I mean, there just seems like they're on every street corner. But so anyway, so that's Route 3 at 21. We're looking pretty good there. The broken down bus, the disabled there. Getting that's coming from Manhattan back to New Jersey, so that's not really that bad. New Jersey Turnpike, here we go. This is new. Car lanes in a roadway northbound south of 13A. All right, let's just see if there's a camera there. There is one at 13A, but I don't think it's working. No success. No luck. All right. Oh, come on. There we go. These are at the toll plaza. I love the Turnpike, but gosh, I mean, keeping the cameras at the toll plaza. I mean, okay, we're starting to see some traffic here, but I think that's because of the issues at 13A. That's entering. Let's see at 13. Again, that's the toll plaza in Linden. So not going to do us any good there. Let's go to the no, Costco warehouse is closed. Why is it closed? Okay. Looks like it may be new here on 21. Check out that camera there at Route 7 in a second. So where are we going? We wanted to go here by 13A. So honestly, just adds to the traffic getting out to Route 81. How many people know that getting off of 13A, that is Route 81? Besides Bernie and I both knowing where the smallest state highway is, this I would imagine comes in a extremely close second, unless there's something else somewhere else. But Route 81, That's another part of this whole traffic business that fascinates me is just how roads are named, how roads are given their route numbers. We call them routes here, um, in the Northeast for the most part. I just find it interesting that certain roads are, state highway, and then you go 3 blocks down the street, and then all of a sudden it's a county highway, and then it turns into a local town road. You know, I just find that extremely interesting, and maybe we can get somebody from, I don't know, maybe from the DOT or something or whatever, come on, do a little sit down interview with us and kind of just talk to us about that, because I find that really fascinating. All right. So again, it's just kind of really getting hit banged up here on 95, getting the turnpike, I should say, getting into 14. All right. So 7:42 now is our time. We wanted to go to that Route 7 situation. Let's do this. Bring this up here for one moment. And we're going to go to cameras. And let's take a look at what we got. We want to go to the 21 tour, which would include Route 7 at that point. And there's also something going on Route 7, I think, out by 508. But where's 21? We just missed it, didn't we? Passed it. On Smith, you can't count. There it is, 21. So we want to go 21. Okay, so that's right, it's on Route 7. Right. Again, a state highway that cuts right through downtown Nutley. I just find that fascinating, that why isn't that just like a county road? Anyway, I digress. There it is by the Belleville Bridge, 7 to 21. Let's see if we see anything. Hopefully the camera works. Come on. There it is. So I don't see anything. That's south here on the left coming towards us. So nothing there. So it's a little bit further south of that, according to our maps. And again, you take these maps with a grain of salt. It's just an idea of what, that there may be something going on. So the camera's up here, so it's really on the approach into Newark. You want to watch for that. Let's go to our Hudson River crossings. We give you the fresh update there before we show you transit and path, before we hit weather. Again, trying to hit the post here, as Bernie, as the big radio guy, will know. 36, about 35 at the George. We'll say on average between 30, 35 at the George, about almost 40 at the Lincoln, about 30 at the Holland. Okay, so that's kind of on par for this this time in the tournament, right? We're kind of like in the second round here, second half hour, the third round coming up at 8 o'clock. Let's see, Newark Light Rail. 7:21 departure already. That would have already left. And no, I don't want to get onto that. So we go to path now. We'll check out that scene here. I think I'm going to hit the post here for weather. Yes, indeed. All right. So Newark will trade, resuming some normal service there from an earlier investigation. So that's a couple hours old. So we are going to say that is going to be on or close, as we say in the traffic biz, right? So all right. So with that said, I think stopping that camera for a few minutes is making things a little bit better for us. We are going to take a break here for some weather and a little sponsor break. Let's talk to our good friend, John Aracco, our meteorologist training from Rutgers University. He has another check of the forecast in the Tri-State Traffic Show Weather Center. Good morning, John.
Good morning again, Don, and everybody watching the show. Hope you're having a great morning, because things are going to be changing as we go into this evening and even over the next few days. It's going to be a little bit on the unsettled side, but hey, look at the positive side. It'll water your gardens for you, so you don't have to do too much in the way of watering for this week. Starting out this morning, pretty decent. Some sun, some clouds. More sun than clouds in some areas, so bring the sunglasses as you head out the door for your commute. And again, the weather threats are looking pretty busy over the next few days. We have some showers on the way later on today, Going into early Wednesday morning, then another round of morning rain Thursday. We get a break on Friday before more rain chances as we go into this weekend. So starting out with your commute forecast for the Garden State Newton, starting around 57 this morning, ending up around 62 by 8 o'clock. Trenton, the capital city, 61, getting to about 67 by 8 a.m. 62 for Camden, getting to about 67 by 8 o'clock. A little bit warmer there in Cape May, 66, getting to about 70 degrees by the time we get to around 8 o'clock. As we move into the five boroughs, Staten Island starting around 62. For the 7 a.m. hour, you'll end up around 66. By 8 o'clock, 63 in Flatbush, Brooklyn, getting to about 66 degrees there for the 8 a.m. hour. Hell's Kitchen in Manhattan starting around 62, but getting to about 68. So warming pretty rapidly during just that 1 hour period. Flushing, Queens, starting around 62 degrees, getting to 68 by around 8 o'clock. And as we go out toward Long Island, Westbury, Islip, Farmingville, you'll all end up, around 66 degrees by about 8 o'clock, as well as Shirley. Port Jefferson starting around 63 degrees this morning. By 8 o'clock, you'll be around 68. Same for Huntington as well, on the North Shore of Long Island. And as we go into the Hudson River Valley, Poughkeepsie starting around 61 this morning. You'll warm up to about 66 by around 8 o'clock. 59 in Monroe, getting to about 62 degrees by 8 o'clock. And also a little bit on the cooler side in Patterson. We'll start you off around 59 this morning, getting to about 63 by the time we get to the 8 a.m. hour. Norwalk, Bridgeport, New Haven, Connecticut, all starting around 62 and getting to about 64 degrees there by 8 o'clock. Hartford, a little bit warmer there by the city, getting to about 68 degrees by 8 o'clock this morning. Waterbury, you'll start around 62 degrees, getting to about 64. A little bit cooler up toward Torrington there in higher elevations. We'll start you off around 59 degrees for 7 a.m., getting to about 63 for the 8 a.m. hour. So as we take a look at the forecast for today, again, we have more rain showers on the way for this late afternoon and evening. So you're going to want that umbrella for when you come home from work and school later on today. The clouds will be increasing throughout the day. Obviously, we'll get to about 77 in Andover, New Jersey, 82 toward Trenton and Cherry Hill. Central Park, you're around 77. 75 over toward New Haven, Connecticut, and Islip, Long Island there on the South Shore, getting to about 73 degrees. So, yeah, a little busy here on the 7-day forecast. We have those evening showers later on today going into early Wednesday morning. Highs on Wednesday will get to the lower 80s for inland areas, a little bit cooler in the 70s for those shore locations as usual. There may be some embedded thunderstorms as well, but we're not looking at any severe weather over the next few days. Same thing for Thursday morning. It looks like we have a widespread rain shower event going on there Thursday morning. So rather than the evening commute being impacted for Wednesday and Thursday, you have the morning commute being impacted. So I'm sure Don will keep you updated on any weather-related delays on the show over the next couple of days. But we'll start to clear it up on the afternoon side for Wednesday and Thursday. Both days, again, around 80 degrees for those inland areas. Friday, we get a little bit of a break from the unsettled weather. Saturday, it looks like we're dealing with more rain, but the models are having a little bit of trouble with the weekend here. Some discrepancies on the timing of the rain showers, how widespread they are. Right now, Saturday, though, is not looking like a great day, but I'll keep you updated on all of that. But that rain would keep us on the cooler side. Look at that. We go from 80 in Newark on Friday down to 71 on Saturday, and we'll warm it back up into the upper 70s for the end of the weekend and the kickoff next week. So, of course, we'll keep you updated on all of this here on the show and my social media pages as well. You can follow those for the latest weather updates. Have a great day, everybody, and drive safely.
Thank you, John. Again, bring along the umbrella for later on. You know, when you're looking outside now and you see the golden sunshine and these great temperatures, dare I say, like late fall kind of temperatures, just absolutely stunning out there. Not really expecting any kind of rain, right? So definitely bring along the umbrella, as John had said. And Johnny will be back here in less than 30 minutes with another check of your Tuesday morning forecast. And we are sponsored by Travels with Darley, Darley Newman. She is the host and producer and kind of does everything there for Travels with Darley. You can watch her on PBS Create, Amazon Prime, Wondrum, as well as Ovation TV's Journey. And you can find her at darley-newman.com. That is her website for any information about Darley and where she is traveling. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Darley's show, I'm going to show you the trailer for her very first season of Travels with Darley.
Breathtaking. Really beautiful. It's dramatic up here.
Our team from the Emmy-winning Equitrekking series is showing you our world as you've never seen it, through the lives and eyes of the locals who know it best.
Yeah, exactly.
Explore some of Europe's most enchanting castles and cities. Dive into adventure in the Caribbean and USA. Try experiences you never thought you would.
So you're gonna try the fish pedicure. So you just have to sit down, put your feet in the water, and they're gonna come and eat everything on your feet.
Earn bragging rights, eating at some of the world's best restaurants, and discovering top food in some of the most unassuming locations. Get a fresh perspective from people you'll love.
I think I'm done.
Absolutely.
What's up?
On the destinations you thought you knew. Immerse yourself in our world with our new series, Travels with Darley.
So that's a little bit of Travels with Darley again on PBS Create, as well as on Wonder and Ovation TV's Journey, and also onto Amazon Prime. Also, please follow Darley on Instagram. She's extremely active on Instagram, and you can see it looks like she's away on another adventure. So you want to click on the reels here and follow where Darley is traveling all around the world. And it looks like she was at the new LaGuardia terminal. Looks like she gave it some glowing reviews. So go ahead and follow Darley on Instagram. She's very, very active, extremely active. In fact, multiple times during the day. Really a lot of fun stuff there. And also on Twitter as well. So you want to follow her on Twitter at Darley Newman. And again, just thank her so much here for being a proud sponsor of the Tri-State Traffic Show. All right, so with that said, let's get back to the action now. Justin is in the queue here for the comments. If you can hang on for just a minute, buddy. I just want to talk to our friends using the Ed Koch Queensboro Bridge in the city because we had this. So now if you're unfamiliar with the Ed Koch and the Queensboro Bridge, the upper level turns into all inbound traffic into Manhattan. They actually take the Queens-bound lanes and reverse them and send traffic in. But now with this long-term construction, it's kind of, it's really only down to 3 lanes instead of 4. So this traffic on the right, which I believe this is the normal Manhattan-bound traffic, this is Queens-bound coming back towards us, was actually shut for the last 15, 20 minutes with an overturned vehicle. Now, again, things happen, and it's amazing how things just happen. But how is anybody going that fast on the Ed Koch to flip over a vehicle? Unless maybe when they came off when you come off the Ed Koch there to go down towards East 63rd, when you come off of the ramp, it's not even a ramp. It's a fairly sharp curve. So I certainly could see where it's possible and maybe the physics of the roadway, but got to be moving, man. You got to be really moving pretty quick in order to do that. And usually this Ed Koch is pretty much bumper to bumper for most of the time. So let's just see if it came off the bridge. So yeah, that is, I'm going to go with that is open now. So that is more than likely cleared, or it's just pushed off to the, it's not even shoulders. It's got to be cleared. So there we go with that. All right, Justin, let's bring you into the conversation, my friend. Good morning to you. Great to see you again. Morning, Don. About to head north on the Parkway, 98 to 127. How are we looking? All righty, my friend. Let's do it. And that's what we do here on the Tri-State Traffic Show as well. We go ahead and give you some personalized traffic reports. Just let me know where you're headed, and we'll kind of be your eye in the sky, and we'll get you to where you need to go. All right, so here we go. JG going from 98 all the way up to the Driscoll Bridge. We're fine. Everything great. Absolutely fantastic. No major problems there for you, my friend. So you're in good shape. The fact is, let me see if I can pull up the Parkway camera. We're going to go give you a little extra here, pal, for being a good supporter of the show. We're going to go to 127 here this morning. I'll even show you what the exit here is. It's a little crowded for 44287 heading out to the Raritan Center. I know that's where you're headed here this morning. So again, just kind of normal stuff, because it's just that one ridiculous lane that gets for 287 and 440. Hopefully someday they'll put a big super project in and redo this entire interchange, because it's not that great. They did the bridge and everything, but they didn't really do the interchange to go ahead and kind of fix some of that traffic. So so Justin gives it three thumbs up. I'll get that right. Thank you, Justin, for that. All right, so there we go. That's what we do here on the Tri-State Traffic Show. We'll give you that personalized touch for your ride. Okay, so let's see where we want to go. We want to go back to our maps here, and we'll just kind of head over to Staten Island. We'll take a look at some of the issues here. Outer Bridge Crossing a little busy, but the Staten Island Expressway pretty much end to end is just bonkers here this morning. Just some sun glare working into the picture as well. So again, lots of extra travel time. Let's just do this here in the next 3 minutes, because I want to stick to our schedule, because we have our special guest coming on at 8:30. Make sure we want to get to him on time. So let's just bring up these cameras here. We'll do this very quickly for the next couple of minutes, kind of give you a snapshot of what's going on throughout the 5 boroughs. There it is at Fingerboard Road. You can see eastbound is just a mess. There is the West Shore Expressway at Bloomfield Avenue is fine. Highland over at Arden Avenue is also moving along well. Again, here's this. This is coming back. This is coming from New Jersey into Staten Island through the tolls. So it's a little bit heavy. Not quite sure why, unless there was something earlier there that's now gone. Expressway here at Clove Road is fairly busy. Highland Boulevard at Midland Avenue is just kind of normal traffic there. Here at Richmond Ave, just bumper to bumper into Victory Boulevard. Victory at Jersey Street and the West Shore at Fresh Kills. That is looking good. Now, just as I show you this here with the cashless tolling, I did hear report that the George Washington Bridge is next up to go all cashless tolling. So that's going to be that ought to be pretty interesting. Let's show you the East River crossings here. As want to again stick to time. We'll just give you a glance of what the deal is here. Let's see, Brooklyn Bridge, that's the Manhattan bound side. That's fine there. Even the bike lane is moving well. Here is the Gowanus at Cole Street. I have that in there. This is the approach to the Battery Tunnel. I had to think about that one for a second. This is outbound here. This is putting it onto Interstate 278, which, as you can see, the travel times to the Verrazano is 8 minutes, to the Goethals is about 18. This is the Manhattan bound Manhattan Bridge. Again, all these cameras, they got all these monikers. It's like, in the military, we just can't spell things out, right? So here's the lower roadway of the Manhattan Bridge. This is going to be the inner lanes here inbound at the Williamsburg Bridge is fairly busy. Look at the ride to the Midtown Tunnel. That's probably pushing at least 25 to 30 there. Unfortunately, that camera is out. This is the camera I showed you with the Queensboro Bridge delays there, because that flipped over vehicle, which I believe has been cleared. But again, I don't see much traffic coming through here on those lanes again, so we'll keep an eye on that. But you see the lower roadways, absolute parking lot. I'm going to go at least a half an hour plus at the Queensboro this morning. All right, so with that said, here it is now 8 o'clock, and welcome to the Tri-State Traffic Show. Down here in the Tri-State Traffic Show Traffic Center. I got to get all that fancy verbiage out there, right? Hopefully the lip sync is moving just fine. And again, we welcome you to the big broadcast, and we bring in my banners here. We thank Darley for the sponsorship for the 7:30 half hour, but our 8 o'clock sponsor is waiting in the wings. That is Mr. Ralph Koppelman at the Cranford Vanilla Bean Creamery, and he is located in beautiful downtown Cranford. And we thank him for sponsoring the Tri-State Traffic Show. You can get more information on Ralph and the shop at CranfordVanillaBeanCreamery.com. And again, at 8:30, we have our special guest, Mr. Bernie Wagenblast, one of the pioneering forefathers of traffic, reporting in the tri-state area. He's actually going to do a little guest TJing, as they call it, right? Traffic jockey. At the in the 8:30 half hour, he's going to take over doing New Jersey traffic for me here at 8:30. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We'll also have a little conversation with Bernie and just talk about traffic reporting and just what he's been up to lately. It also has a newsletter that he does each and every day. So, which is if you're in the transportation space, the transportation world, we'll get you some more information on how to subscribe to that newsletter. All right. So we are looking at 65 degrees now. We're up about 5 degrees since the start of the broadcast an hour ago. Johnny Rocco will be in the Weather Center in less than 15 minutes with another check of your Tuesday morning forecast. And John is saying, some changeable conditions for later. So even though it looks great out there now, things are going to change a little bit later on for that evening commute. But John will have all those details in less than 15 minutes. All right, so let's get back into the action here this morning. As we were showing you our 9-box cameras, we were on the East River crossings. So let's go to Manhattan now, and we'll kind of dive into this since there's really no major issues. Let me just go back to this list because I just want to get an update on that Queensboro, that Ed Koch situation. I just feel like that they're still saying it's closed, but the last update they had was a half hour ago, and I saw traffic coming through there. So I don't know. There's another new crash here in the Bronx coming up to Post Road Route 1. That's heading south, so that's kind of a mess. And then broken down vehicle east on the Grand Central at exit 22. That's the shoulder, so we're fine there. Let's just, before we get back to the cameras, go back to the maps. I'm going to look at that Bronx River Parkway situation. This is right in here, so it's a little bit tied up with that problem there. And then the Deegan is heavy out of the Mosholu, getting in towards the Cross Bronx. But again, what else is new there? All right, so 8:03 is our time. We'll get back to the city in a minute. I want to go back to New Jersey just to check up to see what we got going on here. So it is a broken down. Well, this is on 21 before 3rd Avenue. That's where I was showing you just before with that issue when we were trying to find the camera there at Route 7. So that is going to be right in here before you get up to 280. Yeah, I'm almost positive this is 3rd Avenue. Almost positive this it is. Yes, it is 3rd Avenue, coming off that elevated section of 21. So be careful coming down from Nutley, Belleville. This is what you're going to hit if you're getting in towards Newark. It's going to be about another 5, 6, 7 minutes heavier than what it should be. Looks like we may have a crash here on the Western Spur getting out to 15E. You know what? Let's just check that out on the Western Spurs. Let's just see here. Spur City, where are you? There we go. Turnpike. We want to go to 15W. Spur, south of 15W. Let's see what the deal is here. Right, that's just construction. See, they kind of fooled me yesterday with that overturned tractor trailer. There's a little more police activity yesterday, but I was thinking that was part of it there. But that's really just construction out of the tolls, which I don't know if they're going cashless there because that's probably what it should be. But this is the wrong camera though. This is in 15W. It's well, I can't really say that because I think the Eastern Spur, there is that 15W. It's not an E exit because 15E is for 19. Truck routes 19 in Newark. So that's still the wrong camera. That's at 16E for the Lincoln because it is just absolutely hammered. So let's go here. There used to be a camera just before the bridge, and this is south of 16W through the Meadowlands there. That is fine. Let's do this. Where are we going? I'm all over the map here. Let's gotta close up some of these cameras here. What are we gonna do, Smitty? Let's go. Wow, I just lost my place. Where are we? What was I doing? We were at the Hudson River crossings. That's right. So we were going to the George, Lincoln, Holland, get the fresh numbers there. Just looking at that, Lincoln is probably closer to the hour mark. Yep, that's exactly what it is. 55 here. Half an hour to the lower at the George, half an hour for the upper, and about 30 or so at the Holland, which is typical fare. But I don't know what's going on with the Lincoln. I don't have anything being reported. Okay. Deep breath. It's 8:06. All right. Now we got problems here on 76. It's going to be more rubbernecking issues than anything else, I think. But there's no camera in that spot. There is. Let's see. Westbound on 295. Let's see if that works. Okay. I'm seeing a lot of traffic, but I don't see any flashing lights. So I guess this is where 295. Oh, boy. Okay. So let's just stay with it here. South DOT looking for this. Hopefully. Oh, come on. Refresh. No. Hang with this here. Trying to get my bearings here now. So is this westbound 76 at 295 south? So would this be the eastbound side? Again, we're dealing with roadways here that were named in whatever 70 years ago. We've got westbound 76, which is going this way, which actually goes north. There's a lot of that here in New Jersey, right? They finally corrected it on 295 in Mercer County. They finally got that right, so it's not so damn confusing for anybody who's out of state. But we still got to take care of that. I don't know. 440 and 287 interchange. You go south on 440, which actually goes west, which then all of a sudden switches directions miraculously and switches 180 degrees to go north, but still going west. Go figure. Only in New Jersey, right? So let's come down here. That camera we just had. 42 north to the 76 eastbound ramps. Now, unless they're considering, I've always thought that this was 76 west, but maybe I'm mistaken. That's the westbound side and this is east. I'm not sure. It'd be nice if they could move this camera over here just to see what the deal is. And this is out of the Aljo curve. Ask Bernie about the Aljo curve. Anybody know why it's called the Aljo curve? I kind of do. And whether the story I have is actually what it is, I think it is. But traffic history. There's so much. Again, just in New Jersey alone, you could do an entire series just on the roads. Oh, that's at the tunnel. Let's just go to the maps here this morning, and maybe this will give us a better vibe as far as, again, there's a lot of red out here this morning for a Tuesday. I don't know if people are just trying to get in and use the work from home day coming off the weekend, and they're all, banging into the office for a Tuesday morning. All right. So it's right in here. It's right in here. 295. It's right in this section here. Let's go street view. I want to see what that sign says, the overhead sign. It's always, every time I do this, it always goes the wrong way. Oops. No. 76. 676, but indication of what way that is. Maybe you can only get, 76 really kind of starts and ends there. Again, another one with this interstate that goes 3 miles. I wonder if 76 is the shortest interchange in New Jersey, being a federal highway. Oh, that's somebody's house. That's not what we want. I was trying to drill down in here. And someday in our lifetime, they'll fix this. They'll finally finish this entire project, which has been ongoing for friends here for, it seems like, with 25 years. North 295. Okay. I just want to see how this is labeled, whether it's 76 east or west. I believe it's west. Again, they've got 76 to 676, but it's not telling me. I feel like this is the camera here at the 295 interchange, the one we were just looking at, which would be looking down here. Why doesn't it tell me whether it's 290? Oh, this is an active futility. This will be all afternoon here going this way. So let's just bring this up a little bit further. Let's just come in this area here. Again, this is just for my purposes to make sure I get this right, because that's been a while since I've been down here along 76 this morning. Come on, come on. What are we doing? Whoa, that was the sign I wanted. There we go. 76 west. I'm right. Yahtzee. I'm right. All right. So 76 west and then 676 north. Like number alphabet soup, whatever you want to call it. It is just nuts. So, again, so 76 starts here at the 295 interchange, and this is going west, which is actually going north. But then once you go like 100 yards to the left, it goes back to 676 north. The reason for everything, and I am absolutely enamored by how we name things and number things. Stunning. I just don't get it. But yeah, again, these interstates were put in 70 years ago with the Eisenhower Act and stuff. So where are we gonna go? Let's go back here. Maybe it cleared. I don't know. I mean, I didn't see anything. It was just heavy traffic. But saying overturn a vehicle in 76. Oh, it's on the ramp, eastbound ramp to 1A. I thought it was westbound. Okay, that's on me, Smitty. You called that one wrong. So it's on the ramp to 42-295. So if we go back to the camera list, I know we're spending a lot of time here, but that's what we do on the Tri-State Traffic Show. We'll get to Long Island and Connecticut in just a moment. Then our guest TJ will be going to be in the green room here shortly, so we'll get him on the broadcast. Mr. Bernie Wagon Blast coming up at 8:30 for us. Let's go here to. Okay, so that would make sense, and it also makes sense if the DOT could spin that camera around. Because, well, maybe they did, and they just couldn't see anything. So I don't want to put them under the bus here too much. But all right, so this is eastbound here to getting into 42 and 295. So it's on that exit ramp. Or entrance ramp, again, we've got to get our grammatics correct. Entrance, exit, I mean, I guess obviously just depends on which way you're going. So this is eastbound 70. Oh, come on. Break. Jeez. This is eastbound 76. Come on. Ugh. Ugh. All right. Close out of some of these. That Port Authority site that was really hitting me hard there. Let's go here and all right, let's go here. Let's see now if we can bring this up, because we're running behind on time. Give it a third try. Yeah. All right. So east is on the. Oh, come on. All right, that's it. We're done. We're finished. So it's on the ramp from eastbound 76, southbound 76, whatever the hell you want to call it at that point. It's right there getting out to 42 and 295. So give yourself some extra travel time. Please do. Okay. just frustrated with computers and stuff and whatever. So yeah, so that's the vibe. Good morning, everybody. All right, so 8:15 going on 8:16 now is our time. We want to head over to the Weather Center and talk to John Rocco about our forecast. You know, you're looking outside the window here this morning and you're looking, hey, wow, this is nice. It's 65, a little cloudy here in the traffic center, but it is a nice looking day so far. But you're saying, there's gonna be changes, and what am I gonna bring for the afternoon and evening rush hour? John will have all that and more. Let's send it over to Johnny in the Weather Center. Good morning, John.
Good morning again, Don. On Tuesday morning, we had another stellar day on Monday to kick off the new work week, but things are going to be changing. It's pretty decent out there this morning. Some sun, some clouds. Not too bad. Maybe bring the sunglasses along with you for the morning. Notice I said only the morning because things are going to look a little bit different here as we go into the evening hours by the time you're coming home from work or school or wherever you are during the day today. So let's start you off with the commute forecast in New Jersey. As always, Newton starting around 57 degrees this morning, getting to about 62 by 8 o'clock. 62 is the starting temperature in Newark, getting to about 66 by 8 o'clock. Moving down into Ocean County, Lakewood starting around 62, getting to about 68. Look at that, Cape May, 66 to start you off this morning, getting to about 70 degrees for around 8 a.m. As we move it into New York City, Great Kill, Staten Island, starting around 62 this morning, getting to about 66 by 8 o'clock. 63 in Flatbush, Brooklyn, getting to about 66 around 8 o'clock. Moving up into Manhattan, Hell's Kitchen, starting around 62, getting to about 68. And Morris Park over there toward the Bronx, starting around 61 degrees. This morning, you'll be around 66 by the time we get to about 8 o'clock in the morning. 62 in Islip, out on Long Island this morning, getting to about 66. Pretty consistent temperatures there in Westbury, Farmingdale, and Shirley as well, getting to about 66 by the 8 a.m. hour. Port Jefferson will start you off at 63, getting to about 68 by around 8 o'clock. And moving north into the Hudson River Valley, we'll start you off with 61 in Yonkers, getting to about 64 by 8 o'clock. A little bit cooler there in Monroe, 59 starting off this morning, moving into about 62 degrees by 8 o'clock. Patterson, also on the cooler side, 59 to start you off, getting to about 63, 60 in Middletown, ending up around 64 by 8 o'clock. And for our friends in Western Connecticut, pretty consistent temperatures along the Long Island Sound there in Norwalk, Bridgeport, and New Haven, starting around 62 degrees, getting to about 64 by around 8 o'clock. A little bit cooler up in elevations such as Torrington, 59 to start you off here this morning, getting to about 63 by around 8 o'clock. A little bit warmer toward the city of Hartford, 64 to start you off, getting to about 68 during the 8 o'clock hour. So today we'll increase the clouds, and yes, we have some rain showers on the way by the late afternoon, and probably by the evening commute. Most areas are going to be dealing with those rain showers. So you're going to want to bring the umbrella as you head out the door this morning. So sunglasses for the morning, umbrella for the evening, and take it easy out there. Roads are probably going to be getting a little bit wet by the time you're heading home from work. 77 for your high in Central Park today. Trenton around 82, same toward Cherry Hill. A little bit cooler at 75 in Cape May. Islip around 73. New Haven, Connecticut at around 75 degrees. We're going to take a look at that 7-day forecast coming up in just a little bit because things are going to get unsettled over the next few days. So you're going to want to stick around for that. Don, we'll send it back over to you.
Thank you, Johnny. And John will be back here with the last and final check of the forecast coming up at 8:45. So again, definitely bring along the umbrella for the ride. Again, hard pressed to believe that you're going to need the umbrella, right? So yes, I am not John Rocco and Johnny there. Again, thank you, my friend, president of the Rutgers Weather Watchers Club. Now we're also taking a sponsor break here now at 8:20. We are sponsored by the Cranford Vanilla Bean Creamery and Ralph over in beautiful Cranford, New Jersey, has some of the best handmade, homemade ice cream anywhere to be found. You can find him on 22 North Avenue West. Again, 22 North Avenue West. That's State Highway 28. Again, another one of those things is, why is that Route 28? Why is it State Highway? But it is through beautiful downtown Cranford. You can find him at 908-272-3000. Make some of the best handmade, homemade ice cream basically anywhere to be found in the tri-state area. Let's show you some of the ice cream. These are these flying saucers that he has, as well as the chip witches. So just really great stuff for a summertime barbecue, picnic. We got a lot of birthdays as well as graduations coming up across the area. So here are some of the great ice cream you can see in the case. The Cookie Monster M&M Explosion. It also has coffee ice cream. And he has this bourbon butter pecan ice cream, which is absolutely decadent. And the same thing with the Cappuccino Crunch and also the Oreo cheesecake and the grasshopper. So I'm getting hungry. I keep saying I gotta eat breakfast before we make our way into the driver's seat here, but maybe tomorrow, we'll see. There's just some of the offerings he has as well. He makes those to go hand-packed ice cream there with the pints and quarts, also shakes, and he also has the peach mango sorbet, which is outstanding. I would highly recommend that. Toasted coconut peanut butter cup. So he has the sundaes, anything and all you need to know about a ice cream shop. He makes some of the best ice cream in the land. Here's these birthday cakes, or all occasion cakes, we'll call them. I had almost 20 years baking experience before I joined the broadcast world. But so we've got these ice cream cakes, just great stuff. They're all handmade, homemade ice cream. He can make any of the cakes with any of the ice cream he has in the dipping case there that I showed you. Just probably a little more lead time for that. Again, great for birthdays. We got some graduations coming up here in the next couple of weeks. We have Father's Day in less than 2 weeks on the 19th. So head on over to the Cranford Vanilla Bean Creamery, 22 North Avenue West in Cranford, New Jersey. 07016 908-272-3000 is his phone number. He is open Monday through Thursday from 12:30 to 9:30, from 12:30 to 10 Fridays and Saturdays, and until 9 o'clock on a Sunday. And we thank Ralph over at the Cranford Vanilla Bean Creamery for sponsoring the Tri-State Traffic Show. All right, we're less than 7 minutes from our special guest, TJ, our traffic jockey, coming up at 8:30. So let's get back to some of the action. Let's go out to Long Island now, and we'll see what the situation is here this morning. And we're going to bring up the incident page, courtesy of my good friends over at what was Inform. I think they're still there. Now, whether they're still called Inform, I'm not sure. But nonetheless, doesn't look like there's anything happening. There was something on the side of the coast just moments ago, but looks like that has been cleared. It was off to the shoulder. Again, just our normal delay here through Nassau County, though this eastbound side is back towards about exit 15 or so. I'm not sure if something happened here out by Eagle Avenue. This is probably closer to exit 19. Let's just see here. Peninsula Boulevard in 19. So something's going on at Peninsula Boulevard, I think, is what the problem is. That's why that's all banged up there. And then the Southern State going west of the Wantagh into the Meadowbrook, we are heavy. East in towards the Wantagh as well is a busy ride. West on the Southern State into 109 is going to be slow. West on the LI is heavy from 45 to 44, then really crowding from 40 all the way out through 39. This Meadowbrook Northern State combination is beginning to thin out pretty well, but the westbound Northern from South Oyster Bay Road into the Wantagh, that is heavy. Then the Northern and the LIE both heavy getting out to Lakeville Road. Let's head out to Suffolk County now. Westbound, just some steady moving traffic from 112 all the way into Vets Highway, then to 111. And then again, as you approach into Deer Park Avenue, west on Sunrise Highway is a little bit heavy in the Sayville area. Southbound 347, westbound 347 heavy getting out to 25 in Center Reach. And then east on Sunrise Highway, Hampton Bays, Southampton, Watermill is going to be a slow ride. But again, I think people are just trying to get out. It's got to be just an absolutely stunning day out in the Hamptons this morning. Just, it's probably a little bit crisp out there as well. 66 here, 66 WNBC. In the Hamptons, I'm sure it's probably going to be a little bit cooler out there, but it's got to be really nice. One of these days I'll go down to the Hamptons, home of the G-Man. So the G-Man did his reign of terror right now. The G-Man out there in hailing from Montauk. My good buddy, the G-Man, is like a brother to me. We go south on the area of the Merritt Parkway. is heavy here in Connecticut. 8:25. Wow, I'm actually sticking to the allotted time of the format. Southbound on the Merritt Parkway, heavy from 50, getting in towards 46 or so out to 44 through the no exit zone to 41, then heavier 39 down through 36. 95 busy from 29 all the way through Fairfield into about exit, well, we're going to go all the way down the line to 3. We'll go 29 down through about exit Arch Street and exit 3 is going to be a solid ride. And then the eastbound side of 287 is busy right off the Tappan Zee Bridge on over to White Plains. And then you can see here in Lower Westchester that the Cross County is really taking it hard here east on the eastbound side. I think that's some sun glare working into the picture out to the Hutch on this early Tuesday. Then the throughways backed up from 14 and the 13 on and across the Tappan Zee Bridge. All right, so we go up to Orange County here. 684 is good. The Beacon Bridge is fine. So is Route 6 and 84 there. We are in good shape. South along 684 now is a busy ride as you head south in towards Katona. But when is that never an issue, right? It's always busy there. So really not that big of a deal. You know, I mean, you kind of know the normal drill there. As you head south out of the Brewster area. So again, just looks like that is going to be just a bit slow. Just want to see the latest communique from Bernie. Just want to see. Okay, so sorry, apologize for that, Bernie. I didn't see that, but he was saying that he could come on a little bit earlier at 8 if he'd like, we'll go with the 8:30 here now at 8:27. So, Bernie, if you're watching, if you want to go ahead and log in, we'll put you into the green room here for a moment, and we'll do a game reset at 8:30. We'll switch our sponsors over to Darley, and then we'll get rocking and rolling there with our guest, TJ, and I see him in the green room right now. So we will do that in just a brief moment. Let me just finish up here because I want to hit transit because we haven't done the MTA here in a little while. So we got some delays on the F train, and this is a nice little segue into Bernie with the subways. So you can tell us all about that. This is the northbound F train running with delays after we requested EMS assistance for a customer at Church Avenue. Okay, we go to the rails now. We're starting to see some things popping off here this morning. Far Rockaway branch, Ronkonkoma. 737 from Penn due into Ronkonkoma. 901 is operating 12 minutes late through Jamaica. You wonder how they did this like 50 years ago, because they just took a guess whether it was 10 or 12, and now everything's computerized, so it gives you right down to the millisecond. 739 train from Atlantic Terminal due into Far Rockaway at 8:35 is already 10 minutes late. Always thought that was one of the greatest jobs in the world at Penn Station in the city. That guy who sat in that booth and was just like, for New Jersey Transit, the Raritan Valley line, Cranford, Garwood, Westfield, Highbridge, and he just rolled them out. There's got to be a story behind that guy too. Quickly to Metro North now, coming up on 8:30. Danbury Grand Central operating 25 to 30 minutes late, so some trouble there. That's an early train. One of the early trains out of Danbury is going to merge in there with the New Haven line. So again, keep that in mind. And this is just a planned substitute busting on the Pascagoula Valley line. All right. So with that said, I got to put the headphones on here because I got to play some music. I don't want to blow us out of the water with the audio here this morning. Let me come back here, put me back on camera. There we go. Hi, everybody. All right. So now 8:30 now is our time. We welcome you to the Tri-State Traffic Show. And we are sponsored this half hour by Darley Newman and Travels with Darley. You can find her on PBS Create as well as Amazon Prime, Wonderum, and also on Ovation TV's Journey. And we thank her for sponsoring the Tri-State Traffic Show. So with that said, we're here at 8:30. Let's bring in our special guest, Mr. Bernie Wagenblast. Bernie, thank you very much for joining us here on the Tri-State Traffic Show.
Oh, good morning, Don. Good to be with you. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. So for those who don't know Bernie, again, Bernie and I have been friends for quite some time. I'm just gonna switch this over here. I think it looks a little bit better. We've been friends for quite a number of years, and as I mentioned in your kind of lead up here over the last hour or so, that you were basically one of the founding fathers of shadow traffic back in the day on radio. Can you kind of tell us about how that all came about back when that all got started?
Sure. Well, it was 1979 that shadow traffic came to New York and New Jersey. It had started in Philadelphia, I think a year or so earlier than that. And they had also opened up in Chicago. But New York, obviously, was the number one market in the country. It still is. And they started up with shadow traffic in New York. And I was fortunate enough to be one of the group of traffic reporters that was hired to start shadow traffic in New York. And certainly a much different world of traffic reporting then. There was no internet, no traffic cameras. It was a much different world, no cell phones to get traffic information. We used people who were spotters atop the Empire State Building and the World Trade Center to report traffic. They had binoculars. They would go to a payphone to phone
Wow.
in what they were seeing from there. And
A payphone,
it's
Bernie. Wow. In fact, do I see one behind you on the left? I see something in the background behind you. If that's a payphone or is that, I'm not sure what that is, but it's just phone.
it's designed like a payphone. It's not a real payphone, but it looks like a payphone.
I love it. I love the set piece. That's fantastic. And the fact is, I think they just took away, what was it, the last operating payphone in Manhattan, just
Yes.
like last week or so.
It went to a museum,
Went to a
which is
museum.
appropriate.
Okay, definitely appropriate there. Yeah, I think you're using a lot of those old payphone spots for like Wi-Fi hotspots or
Mhm.
something of that nature. But that's amazing. Spotters in the World Trade Center and then the Empire State Building, and I'm sure you probably use CBs and things like that, right?
Yes.
For a lot of the truck drivers and so forth on the the interstates and things like that. So as you said, it's changed. It's changed so much over the years. As I was mentioning, as we were talking yesterday about the cameras, about all the DOTs have all this great technology and all these HD cameras now. It's almost like putting on a production. So it just makes things so much easier to get the information, really. And a lot of times it's really for public safety too. You're trying to keep people out of certain areas because the more cars and things you get into and trucks you get into one area that they shouldn't be, more things can certainly happen in those kind of situations. So now I also mentioned, as we segued from the MTA, that you're also the voice of several of the subway lines as well. Can you tell us a little bit about how that all came about and what subway lines? I forget. I think some are in Manhattan, maybe the one, the two. I'm not sure, but which ones?
I am on all of the numbered subway lines. So 1
Okay.
through 7 plus the Times Square shuttle. I'm the voice that you would hear in the stations that would tell you when the train is coming. So it would sound something like the next downtown number 2 will arrive in 3 minutes. Please stand away from the platform edge.
I love it. That is fantastic. Bernie, we're gonna give you a little applause here, my friend. Yeah, that is fantastic. That is great. It kind of reminds me, back when I was a kid, when we went to Disney World, you get on the monorail and you'd have the guy say, please wash your hands and the doors are now closing, those kind of things and
Yep.
so forth. So that is fun. Now, do you still do the air train over at Newark?
Yes, I'm the voice on the air train. And for our viewers in South Jersey and Philadelphia, I'm the voice on Patco between Lindenwold and
Very nice.
Philadelphia. So
Very nice.
two
Yeah.
different transit lines you can catch me on.
That's great. That is fantastic. That is so much fun. I remember going on the air train out to Kennedy one time, and I'm standing in, waiting to get on the train, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm hearing something. And why? I know that voice. And where's that coming from? All of a sudden, oh, it's Bernie on the coming from the speakers in the train. Oh, that is so much fun when you realize that you know somebody like that, right? It makes the trip maybe a little bit easier, a little more comforting, right? When you know somebody that's going along with you for the ride. Talk to us also about the newsletter that you do. You've been in the transportation space for a long, long time, and you put out this newsletter. Tell us about that and how people can go ahead and get that newsletter in their inbox.
Sure. Well, there's several different actually transportation newsletters that I do. I think probably about 7 all in all. But the original one that I'm still doing started back in 1998, which actually makes it older than Google, which I'm kind of proud to say I've been doing something online before Google was even around. It is called the Transportation Communications Newsletter. It comes out Monday through Friday. If anyone would like to be added to the free subscription list for that, they can just send an email to Bernie@transportationradio.com and I will add them to the list.
Very nice. Now, with the transportation radio, Bernie, you also, is it more of a podcast that people can listen to on? Is it on a weekly basis, monthly basis? What kind of things are you doing on that?
For transportation radio, I do a couple of podcasts for different clients, one for an organization called the Institute of Transportation Engineers, and the other for another organization that's made up of state DOTs all around the country called the American Association of State Highway and Transportation Officials. And those both are done monthly. And if you go to transportationradio.com, you'll find all of the episodes for both of those podcasts there.
I know you've also done a lot of work with a lot of the DOTs, as you said. So can you tell us some of the work that you've done over the years, just consulting, and how I guess maybe to either gather information or how to kind of put it together, and also, maybe like some of the latest trends of how traffic is put together, and some of the sensory and some of the electronic, some of the nuts and bolts kind of stuff that happens.
Sure. Well, I was really, I think, first involved with the state DOTs through an organization called Transcom, which was founded by the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey back in 1986. I had joined them shortly after they started. And the idea behind Transcom was to coordinate information among all of the transportation agencies in the tri-state area. So the 3 state DOTs, New York State, New Jersey, and Connecticut, but also many of the other agencies, some of the toll agencies like the Port Authority, the MTA Bridges and Tunnels, police, state police agencies, things of all that sort, because the need in the New York metropolitan area is so great to coordinate, since you have so many agencies that are responsible for so many different pieces of the transportation system. Let's say you have a problem on the George Washington Bridge in the westbound direction heading toward New Jersey. Well, not only does that affect the Port Authority, which owns and operates the George Washington Bridge, but it will affect New York City DOT and the Cross Bronx Expressway, as you well know, New York City Police. It could affect the New York State Thruway Authority with traffic diverting up to the Tappan Zee Bridge. So there are many different ways that we would try to coordinate and also plan construction, so you did not have construction on 2 parallel routes that were operated by different transportation agencies going on the same weekend. There's still problems, but you want to avoid major problems where people are not communicating and letting them know what's going on, and special events too, whether it's a planned or an unplanned special event that might cause problems.
It's very much like, I imagine, kind of like almost like city planning too, as far as, where to build buildings, and obviously the traffic studies that we see all around, especially here in New Jersey with so many of these big apartment complexes going up, these traffic studies to see how things are going to impact with even honestly, just the basic things of traffic light timing, and trying to get things going. Obviously the city has got probably a whole team of people that times out the lights and all the avenues to try to keep traffic flowing and kind of moving, and it's a consistent fluid situation 24/7. We're in one of the biggest hotspots for traffic in the world. And as you mentioned with the bridges and trying to plan out, like you said, even events, things that happen at MetLife Stadium, when are they going to let out, and when can we set up construction, and they'll hold off on construction because of an event, or, if something is happening either weather-wise, that also takes a big factor in as well, with construction. Sure. And other situations at the bridges, maybe have some fog and so forth. So just trying to get the word out for that is certainly a big part of all of this. Again, it's an entire science. And I don't know if you heard my little, I don't want to call it a rant, but a little bit of a rave on, some of the interstates and how they're numbered, and the direction, and west, and, southbound 440 in Edison going to northbound 287, and it's going west. And somebody coming from Duluth, Minnesota is probably having their head spin or their GPS just completely exploding at that point. It's just fascinating to me how all this kind of comes together, and just the naming and numbering of so many roads throughout our area.
Well, you can take Route 440 as an example, because I'm certainly familiar with that. And as you mentioned, it goes from 287 south to Route 440 north. But what you have to look at is the big picture with that, because it crosses the Outer Bridge Crossing and then goes on to Staten Island, where it does continue in the northbound direction until it crosses over the Bayonne Bridge and up through Hudson County, where it remains in the northbound direction. So those kinds of beltway roadways can be a little bit confusing in terms of direction. But when you look at from the big picture perspective, it makes sense that that would be 440 northbound at that point.
Right. And again, and that also goes to 278 as well, where we go across Staten Island going east, where it starts in Linden and comes across the Goethals, and then it goes across the Verrazano, then it heads north. And again, more confusion just sets in for anybody who's not from the tri-state area. It goes from 278 eastbound, which the signs are labeled, it heads north, but then everybody calls it the Gowanus Expressway. So it kind of blows out the numbers. So that kind of probably confuses you even more. And then once you go across, I'll ask you, the top of the world. You've heard of that?
I think so. I think I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's the one that goes over the Gowanus Canal there by Smith Street, by that highest subway station in the world there. And then you come down, going west now, going east on 278 on the Gowanus, which then turns into the BQE, which then all of a sudden hangs a right and goes north. And it's just so confusing as far as all these interstates. And again, it's probably an act of Congress literally an act of Congress in order to get something changed as far as an interstate is concerned, the routing direction of that. But I think in some cases it may help as far as to say, hey, it's going north, and you actually are going north and not going east for those route numbers. But again, it's such a massive science in the tri-state area with all these roads, and we're all going in 17 different directions. And certainly here in New Jersey, with the jug handles, you make a right to make a left, right? I mean,
New Jersey is unique in these ways. And we also gave the world the Jersey barrier. So there's a few other things that traffic-wise that we've originated here in New Jersey.
Exactly, that's right. And for those who are unfamiliar with that, that's the concrete barrier that you see everywhere around the world, probably. The Jersey barrier. But I saw recently somewhere they were talking about, I guess, that you're from Jersey, like one of those things. I don't know if it was a Facebook page or whatnot, but maybe it was in a TV show. Oh, that's what it was. It actually was on Law and Order.
Oh,
and they were interviewing, not a suspect, a person of interest, we'll call them, right? So they were asking them some questions and whatnot, and the individual answer says, well, I know that she wasn't from Manhattan. And they said, well, how do you know that she's not from New York City? She said, well, they were on whatever road and we had to use the jug handle. He's like, well, I knew they were from New Jersey. I knew they weren't from New York City, so I knew that that's not who it was. So I found that very funny that there were probably some writers in Law and Order for the show that are certainly from New Jersey. But we have so many different unique things, and also with traffic circles and whatnot. So, but so let me ask you.
And I also have an answer to your earlier question about the Aljo curve in South Jersey.
Yes.
The reason it was called that was there was a sign for I guess it was a nightclub called Club Aljo. Okay. And that's why people started calling it the Aljo curve.
Ah, there we go. So if that comes up on Jeopardy this week, you'll have the winning answer there. So put all the chips in if it comes up. Why is the Aljo curve named the Aljo curve? And I guess that's Belmar, the other Belmar.
I'm not sure exactly which town it's in.
It's in that whole area down in South Jersey for us North Jerseyans, right? But anything south of the Driscoll Bridge is South Jersey. But yeah, so very cool stuff. The Aljo curve, very interesting. Well, actually, I have another one for you. Let me see if I can bring it up here. And I think you probably know this this trivia question, but let me see if I was thinking about this. I said, let me see if I'll put this in here for Bernie, because I found this very cool picture of one said road. And let me just again, I'm playing master control and doing technical directing all at the same time. So let me take out your lower third here, and I will put this up. All right, Bernie, what do you got?
Well, originally it was called Route 4. It later became Route 444, but the original highway designation for the Garden State Parkway was Route 4.
Yeah, there we go. There's the applause. Very, very nice. I knew there's one person on the planet that knew what that was. That is Bernie Wagenblast, Route 4 and 444. And actually, let me see if I can show the photograph here. There it is. Let me take out the banner here.
2 lanes.
Yeah. So this is going to be in the Clark area here this morning. This is by, I believe, out by the Madison Hill rest area, or what was off in the distance. I'm not sure, by Madison Hill Road, but this is back when the Parkway first opened in 1952. And I think that's heading south there, but just amazing to see that the Parkway is only 2 lanes heading south. And now it's, five in each direction, right? We got 10 lanes of the Parkway heading through, Southern Union County into Middlesex County. Just amazing progress, right? Over the last, well, really, I guess that's 1952. I should look at the date of that. We're probably coming up on the 70th anniversary of the Parkway now. Now that I'm thinking about that, doing my quick math and having used all my skills from, that was my other next question, is that, from Seton Hall University, we're both Pirates. So we are both alumni of Seton Hall. And you started off on the radio there, right? From on SOU?
Yeah, that was where I had my first experience as a broadcaster, was WSOU, and was news director during my junior year, station manager my senior year. And it was a wonderful experience because, as you know, Don, radio or television is one of those things you can't learn in a classroom. You have to learn it by doing it. So getting a chance to interview people and to cover news stories and write stories and everything that goes along with that, and just the ability to ad lib. That's one of the things that I think you certainly learn from being on the radio, because, as you know, again, things don't always go as planned, and you have to be able to cover that and not hem and haw too much while you're trying to figure out what's the heck is going on.
Exactly. And did you do any traffic reporting back then? Was there even such a thing? That anybody even think about that?
Yes. Believe it or not, we did do traffic reporting. We would make some calls to police departments. You didn't call DOTs because DOTs, they weren't in the office yet. They were only there after 9 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
So we would check in with the police to find out what was going on. And I remember calling the railroads that that don't exist any longer, like the Penn Central or the Erie-Lackawanna, the Central Railroad of New Jersey, to find out if the trains were running on time. So it was, again, a little bit of a different world, and you would try to do the best you could. But I also, one of my first paid jobs in radio, was at a radio station in New York City. And this was before Shadow came along. And what we would do is we would listen to the 2 radio stations in New York, WOR and WCBS, that had traffic helicopters, and kind of borrow, let's put it that way, the information they had from their helicopter reports. But we would also get updates from the MTA about how the subways were running, or if there were any delays on the railroads and such coming into the city. So much different and much less sophisticated than what's available today.
That's fantastic. Now with your radio days, Bernie, I know, I guess back in the day that, a lot of radio talent had many different names across the board, right?
Yes.
So can you tell us some of the more interesting names that you've used in your career on radio?
Well, Bernie Wagenblast in and of itself is kind of interesting, I suppose. In fact, I remember,
yes, you're right about that. Yes.
probably a week or so after Shadow Traffic debuted, the radio columnist that they actually had, a radio television columnist on the Daily News back then, and he wrote about my name and was wondering if it was real. But the only other name that I ever used on the air was Jack Packard, and that was on WABC, which at the time was still a music station. And the DJ that I was on with, Dan Ingram, a legendary DJ, gave me that name. And I guess Jack Packard sounded a little more like a top 40 DJ name than Bernie Wagenblast would. Right. But one Monday morning, 6 o'clock, my first traffic report, every other station that I was doing, and we were doing multiple stations, every other station I was Bernie Wagenblast. And it being a Monday morning at 6 o'clock, I was probably still half asleep. And I came to the end of the report and I said, I'm Bernie Wagenblast. And
Oh,
then I
no.
quickly realized, no, I'm not here. I'm Jack Packard.
Jack Packard. I love it. That's fantastic.
And he
Oh,
got a good
God.
laugh out of that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's kind of like maybe even being like, Rick Corvette or something or whatever, but Jack Packard, that's one of the great ones. And, you mentioned Dan Ingram. I mean, you've probably worked with probably like all of the great city DJs and New Jersey DJs, right? I mean, there's probably just a laundry list of folks that you work with.
Well, certainly many of them. Again, we weren't on competing radio stations. So my other big station was 1010 Wins. So it was more news people that I was on with there, although a few of the old news people had been holdovers from the days of 1010 Wins being a top 40 music station. But, had a chance to work with many of those folks and be on the air. And again, you don't realize it at the time, but being a part of New York broadcasting history.
Exactly. That's right. Yeah. And, the New York radio message board, which I check in pretty regularly as well as you do, post a lot of great stuff about New York radio. If anybody's interested in radio, I certainly would recommend it. I think it's NY.
I'm not sure of the.
I'm not sure of the thing. I can't.
Name.
It's 8:50 in the morning. I feel like I'm still half asleep, and I've been on the air here for over almost 2 hours now. But just Google it, New York Radio Message Board, and if you're interested in that kind of stuff with the history of radio and things like that, it's always just a great resource to get all information about what's going on in the radio business throughout the tri-state area. All right, Bernie. So with that said, so we're going to put you to the test now. So we're going to.
Might be a little rusty. I haven't done traffic reporting.
All right, that's not a problem. So we're going to put you in the driver's seat here. So let me just go ahead and you tell me whether you can see the screen.
Yes, I can.
Okay, so we're going to let you kind of run here with New Jersey. I'll kind of just drive here, and you tell me kind of where you want to go. But the floor is all yours, Bernie.
Well, we've got a few problems this morning. First, on Route 22 in Union County. If you're traveling on Route 22 eastbound and looking at some delays coming out of Scotch Plains heading toward New Providence Road and Mountainside, the reason is a lane is closed. The left lane shut down while they clear an accident at that location. We've also got some delays up in Morris County. Crash on Route 24 westbound. This is a bit past exit 7 in Chatham. Again, the left lane closed at that spot. But again, as you know, all you need is even just a problem on the shoulder to cause some serious delays. So I'm sure with the left lane closed, it's going to cause some problems. And of course, on 24 westbound, you've got that right lane that disappears. So that's going to cause some extra backups getting into where that crash is being cleared. Earlier problems on Route 18, I saw those earlier today in East Brunswick. Fortunately, that is out of the way. The delays are gone as well. Still working on a crash on North Avenue in Elizabeth. That's at Kepkowski Road. One right lane blocked at that location. That was as of, let's say, about almost an hour ago. So hopefully maybe that has been cleared and the delays are easing, heading out toward the Port of Elizabeth and the Elizabeth Port section of Elizabeth getting out through there, or the back way into Newark Liberty International Airport. Let's see what else we've got. If you want to bring up any of the traffic maps, we can take a look there,
yes,
see
we
what's
can.
going on.
We will do that here. In fact, we'll go to that aforementioned 287 interchange here coming off of 440 through Edison and Piscataway. So looks like it's starting to get a little busy there.
Yeah, no surprises. Northbound 287 at this time of day, even without any blockages, you've got typically heavy traffic getting away from the turnpike and heading up past Route 1, Route 27, and going on toward Piscataway. So another slow spot on 287 northbound coming out of Piscataway, heading out towards Zarephath and Boundbrook. So you can expect delays with that. Keeping an eye on the turnpike, looks like we've got some backed up traffic northbound heading up toward Interchange 10 in Edison. Another slow spot on the turnpike going from Linden on toward Elizabeth. And for folks who are traveling along on 24, that accident that we told you about earlier, not only is it backing up 24 all the way to 78, but it looks like it's also causing some extra delays on 78 westbound heading into the interchange for Route 24 in Springfield. So if you can steer clear of that whole area, that would probably be the best bet right now. Maybe try to travel in a little bit later this morning, or you might even think about 124, although I would imagine that's probably also going to be picking up a little bit of extra traffic through Springfield and out towards Short Hills.
Yeah, just a bit of a kind of a local roadway there. Bernie, we've got a fan here who's Auntie Anna, who's always one of our big supporters. She says, total blast in the past. I remember Shadow Traffic, and thanks for this interview. Thank you, Anna, for supporting the Tri-State Traffic Show. Yeah, so
thank you, Anna.
Still got a lot of fans there, Bernie, listening and watching. And again, you can hear them on the air train as well as the subways in the city. So certainly do that if you are traveling. All right, Bern, let's head up to North Jersey here and kind of give you the snapshot here out through the Hackensack area, and I'll let you kind of run with that.
Well, we've got delays. Again, no surprise at this hour of the morning on 95 getting off the Turnpike's eastern spur, heading on to Route 3 and going in toward the Lincoln Tunnel. If you're going to be traveling along on Route 4, looks like some delays in both directions. Heading into Hackensack, we've got some more slow-moving traffic traveling on the Garden State Parkway. Again, no surprises here. You've got the usual delays with rush hour congestion as well as the construction going from the Kenilworth area on up into Union. Looks like there are some more delays in both directions around Bloomfield if you're traveling along on the Garden State Parkway. Route 21, we've got some backed up traffic there, very heavy, southbound heading through the city of Newark on McCarter Highway. Again, just a lot of traffic light congestion, I'm sure, that's causing some problems there because it looks like the northbound side also a bit slow, though not quite as bad as southbound.
Right. Yeah, this 21 here, I think there was a problem out by 3rd Avenue. There was something going on there earlier about an hour ago, so I think it's still hasn't kind of basically recovered at that point.
Yeah, and another slow spot, routes 1 and 9 heading in toward the Holland Tunnel. Looks like right now the Turnpike approach would be the better one if you don't mind shelling out for a little bit of toll money there.
That's right. Yeah, the Bay Extension absolutely, is moving better. But again, I think they're redoing the Bay Bridge or something again. I mean, it seems like that bridge, I feel like they could have saved money, just built a whole new bridge and just put it right next to it or something. I don't know. It always seems like it's under construction for some reason. Well, we know the reason because it just can't handle the traffic. But and I think this section of the Bay Extension is also slated for some sort of repair of some type. Now, whether I don't know if they're going to add another lane or just fixing the bridges. I'm not quite sure on that. But I think that's one of the capital projects for the Turnpike. And again, obviously the Parkway, as you and I are very familiar with it here out by Morris Avenue, has been messing traffic up for the last 6 months. And I think we still got quite a ways to go till that finally finishes. So that's, I mean, this shouldn't even be this heavy at 9 o'clock in the morning heading south than it is. It's just because the lane's shifting there through Union, getting into Kenilworth through the bridges. So that's a bit of a mess. Let's head out to Western Jersey here, which I think is going to be a little quieter for you at this point, but we'll let you go ahead and run with that, Bern.
Yeah, it looks like the 78, we're in pretty good shape in both directions. We've got a bit of a slowdown, it looks like, on the eastbound side, east of Phillipsburg. Again, probably just some volume, or maybe even some rubbernecking. It's something going on the shoulder of the roadway as you get through that spot. So not a big delay, but one of the rules of traffic reporting, what's not a big delay to you is a big delay to the person who's sitting in it. So we feel your pain there if you're sitting in that delay.
Exactly. That's right. Yeah. And again, with traffic reporting too, it's those extraordinary events or the, things that are just out of the ordinary. I guess I'm using the verbiage wrong, but those are the things that, if you don't hear about it, you're just in your daily commute and then all of a sudden you get stuck for an hour. On 78 if something's closed, or if it's on 80 or it's Route 206, whatever it is, or honestly, even just locally in your town or whatnot, if they're digging up a water main or something,
Sure.
that's there for a couple of hours during the day. That's why that traffic reporting is, so important. So, so it looks like 80 here is moving pretty well through most of Warren County.
Not bad.
Let's go down into the breadbasket, Central Jersey. And yes, there is a Central Jersey, right, Bernie? Please.
Yes, I do agree that there is a Central Jersey.
That's right. There's several radio stations here in the market that brand themselves as Central Jersey, right? So
not a bad looking morning right now, at least at this point, if you're traveling through Central Jersey. 195, we've got some delays there on the westbound side, heading in toward Route 33, but outside of that, it looks like we're in fairly good shape. Again, some traffic light delays that you can anticipate along Route 9, Route 33, 36, 35, but nothing that seems to be terribly taxing at the moment. 295 is in relatively good shape, as is 95.
And 29.
You're going to be traveling. 195?
Yeah, 29 there is just a little bit tied up getting into the State House, but that's kind of just coming out of the tunnel there. But sorry, didn't mean to.
No problem.
There,
and
but,
the usual delays across the river in Philly on the Conshohocken and some of those roadways as people head into work. You've only got less than a minute if you have to be in by 9. So don't
Exactly.
rush, but keep that in mind.
Totally. That's right. That's right. And for those who are not familiar where this Aljo curve is, we'll put it on the map because people like to see maps, right? It's right in here, right there. And as you were
And they're
saying,
working to get rid of that. That is, I believe, supposed to be finished up. Last I heard was in 2023, but I'm not sure if they're on schedule or not.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, this has been hit hard with so much construction. It's been, seems like it's forever for, what they're doing on 42 and 55. And, it just never seems to want to end. It's again, not looking to take away property from anybody. I don't know if this is like businesses or homes, but it almost feels like it should just go straight across, just connect instead of coming around the curve, right? But I guess they all wanted to go to the Aljo nightclub, right?
Could be.
They purposely put in 295 to head around the curve just to get promotion for the nightclub. I love it. Absolutely love it. All right, so let's head towards South Jersey, because that's what we call it. We don't call it Southern New Jersey. We call it South Jersey. So let me just get this a little closer for you here. So maybe down the shore here, down towards Wildwood.
Yeah, not a bad looking morning traveling on the Garden State Parkway. A little bit of slow moving traffic on the southbound side in Ocean City. I'm sure if this were a Friday morning, we'd see a bit more volume, but being a Tuesday morning, most folks are not going to and from their shore vacations, most likely. Atlantic City Expressway looks like it slows a bit heading eastbound into Atlantic City, but again, no major problems there. Route 9, 47, 49, nothing seems to be out of the ordinary. 55 through Vineland and Millville also looks to be in pretty good shape at the moment, as is 55. But again, if this were a Saturday morning, we would be seeing a lot more red at this time of year on those roadways heading down to the shore points.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's an interesting ride, if you're, looking for something to do or, weekend trip or whatever, coming down to this area, Vineland, Millville, along 55, 347, 49, a really interesting drive, just get out and enjoy, and it's a nice day, put down the top, that kind of thing. But, probably many in North Jersey are probably very unfamiliar with Bridgeton and Millville and Vineland. It's it's almost a tale of two states, right? I mean,
it's a much different version of New Jersey than what you would find in the New York metropolitan area. And Glassboro has, some interesting sites. There's a museum of glass, because that was the big industry down in that area back in the day. It was glass making with all the sand. It was perfect. And they've got some of those things that are still in place that you can visit as a tourist.
Absolutely. Good stuff. Now, again, one of my favorite spots is this Parkway at exit 0. Now, again, whether that was purposely put there, I'm not sure. But, I really honestly, I think that may be one of the only roads that I know of that has an exit 0. I mean, maybe there's others around the country, but at least in our area, I don't remember or even think.
I'm not aware of any other exit 0s anywhere in the country that I've heard of.
I mean, I feel like it should have like its own little rest, so like you could pull over and get a picture with it. I mean, when you go down south and you see the exit 0, it's like, oh, wait a minute, where are we? And then it comes to a traffic light. That's really the only traffic light left, I guess, technically on the Parkway. There was a few there through Stone Harbor and Avalon and Wildwood, but they've taken all of those out now. So now it's just one continuous road. But they should make it like a little destination thing. Get your picture taken at exit 0, because I think it's just fascinating. I think years ago they used to have. I think they had T-shirts and stuff like that on the Wildwood Boardwalk, I think, that had the Parkway symbol and said exit 0, whatever, and they probably paid a fortune in licensing fees to the Turnpike Authority for the Parkway logo. But all right, so we'll finish up here in the Toms River area, this section, and then we'll take a look at transit next.
Not finding too many problems on the Parkway. Looks like we've got a bit of delay northbound. I'm guessing that's maybe into the Toms River Toll Plaza, but outside of that, we're in pretty good shape. And of course, in Toms River, you have Route 9 and the Garden State Parkway running contiguously for a short stretch through there. But outside of that, not too bad. Route 37 heading out towards Seaside Heights seems to be just a little bit slow heading up toward the bridge. But again, no big problems, perhaps Again, just a bit of volume going through there. Route 9, some occasional traffic light delays. I would anticipate those to be, but nothing too serious. And 35 in Point Pleasant, a little bit of a slowdown in both directions as you come into Point Pleasant. But again, nothing that seems to be out of the ordinary or anything that you would want to go out of your way to avoid if you're going to be traveling into that area. Folks who are traveling on 35, you've got some slow-moving traffic around the Long Branch area, also some slow-moving traffic on 35 northbound up through Red Bank. And, of course, that goes through the middle of the business district of Red Bank with some twists and turns there and traffic lights. So that can slow you down as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, that's definitely not the easiest of negotiation, even with your GPS or outer staters or whatever coming through there, because it kind of makes a left and then a right. And then it's, it's honestly very similar to what 28 is here in our area in New Jersey, going through, Westfield, and then it hangs a left there at the Westfield Memorial, the War Monument there, and then it goes on to South Avenue. Why does it continue going straight? Beyond anybody's guess, but 28 all of a sudden hangs a left and then heads south and kind of confuses you. But yeah, but 35 there is a little bit. That is an interesting spot in Red Bank, no doubt about that. All right, Bernie. So let's go to some transit here. One of your wheelhouses. Let's pull up. Now it's the Turnpike cameras. We want to go to NJ Transit and let's take a look at what we got going on here. It looks like we got some problems on the coastline.
Yeah, just apparently one train that is running late. They had some overhead wire issues near Penn Station, which you would think that it might also affect the Northeast Corridor, but it looks like just that one train was affected and a 15-minute delay for that. But otherwise, we're in good shape on New Jersey Transit this morning, including the light rail lines and the bus lines all seem to be in relatively good shape. So with gas prices going up, I think a few folks are switching to transit to maybe save a little bit of money at the pump and take the train getting into work, or maybe taking the bus if they're traveling.
Absolutely. That's good for New Jersey Transit. Obviously during the height of the pandemic, it was completely, down to the bare bones, conductors with empty trains and so forth. But so it's good to see that the trains are on the way back. Let's speaking of trains, we'll head over to Path now. We'll see what the situation is here this morning. We had some earlier problems on Newark World Trade, but looks like they have basically eased out.
Yeah. Apparently police activity a bit earlier at Newark Penn Station, but that seems to have been cleared. So things are getting back to normal on Path, and not just on the Newark World Trade Center line, but also going up to Hoboken and 33rd Street as well.
I'm just going to see if I can find the Patco. I don't know if that was on there, but I got SEPTA here. If you know anything about SEPTA, I've never been on SEPTA at all, but it's again, for those who don't know what SEPTA, it basically is what, from Trenton, Mercer County, and then goes through
down to Wilmington in Delaware. Okay. But they also have branch lines that head west out toward different points. The main line, which is the old Pennsylvania Railroad's main line that goes out to some of the suburbs out toward King of Prussia and Conshohocken and some of those places. I see an alert for the Wilmington Newark branch, which is, again, the Northeast Corridor. That runs along with Amtrak's Northeast Corridor service. And apparently the alert is just about an elevator in Chester, Pennsylvania. So not a big concern unless you have to use the elevator in Chester.
Exactly. Yeah. And just to let everybody know, Bernie is pretty much an aficionado when it comes to transit trains and so forth. Just a real history lesson can be learned from you, Bernie, as far as all these train lines, they used to run that are no longer running. And, I think there is some eventual talk here of I think I'm going to bring us back on camera now. So everybody give Bernie the applause there for the great traffic read. I love it.
Thank you.
Very nice, in full form and full voice. So yeah, about bringing some of the train lines back. Just talk about that really quickly as well. Trying to get out to the Poconos has always been the big project, kind of like Jurassic Park, 65 million years in the making, but this has been probably 100 years in the making, even though it was probably back in service back then. But, just connecting New Jersey Transit, I guess that would be what? The
Morrison Essex line.
Morrison Essex line. And then it
That
would
was the
connect.
old Erie-Lackawanna,
Mhm.
and going back even further, before those two railroads merged, it was the Delaware-Lackawanna and Western, and they are in the process of building an extension out to Andover, but at this point, I think it's still just talk and planning about extending it across the rest of Warren County and going out towards Scranton, and seeing if they can restore service there. So we'll have to wait and see if the funding for that comes and the ridership demands come back. I think people are still trying to determine whether after COVID and with people not working in the office as much as they used to, whether and how that's going to affect transit patronage.
Yeah, exactly. I guess they're trying to realize or trying to figure out how many of those folks are who moved out of the city or were heading to the let's head for the hills when when everything kind of went crazy on us. Whether they're actually going to stay there, I think is like you said, whether that's going to be the point, whether they bought a house in the Poconos, but in a year or two, are they going to move back to the city, or are they going to move back into further in towards Somerset, Morris counties where you can get a train line? So that study, I'm sure, is going to be extensive, and to head out that way, because it certainly would make things slightly easier for some who are living out there in the Poconos. It's interesting with New Jersey Transit, just the kind of the layout of the map as far as where things kind of go. As I'm talking to you, I'm just going to see if I can bring up that map of New Jersey Transit. It's just interesting how it's kind of all laid out in one point, as far as the destinations are concerned, because, you think after all this time that you'd be able to take a train all the way to Cape May, that it wouldn't stop in Bay Head, that wouldn't be the final destination, so to say, for the southern tier of it. Let me just see if I can bring that up really quick here. So yeah, this is what let me just take this off. So, this is kind of what we're talking about right in here, that, that it never really materialized. And again, I don't know if that was because of whatever, but, you'd think that you'd be able to take a train from Bay Head all the way down, at least maybe to Atlantic City. Just trying to get to Atlantic City now, you have to. So in order to go to Atlantic City, let's just say from Newark, you essentially would have to take the Northeast Corridor, Trenton,
right,
and then get on the River Line.
Well, you could do that, or probably would be easier is just to stay on the Northeast Corridor. You can either switch to SEPTA at Trenton, or you could take an Amtrak train and go down to Philly, down to 30th Street Station, and there switch over to the Atlantic City line of New Jersey Transit.
I
to get to AC.
Right in here. Yes. Okay. And then this ride here is probably about 45 minutes or so, I think, something like that.
I think it's a bit longer than that. I've only taken it a few times, and it's been years since I've taken it, so I'm not sure how long it takes. But yeah, you're going across South Jersey, and one time there were a number of lines that came out of Camden that went down to Wildwood and Cape May and places like that. Yeah. So you could take the train back in the day, but those lines, unfortunately, are no longer in service for passenger use. In some cases, the rails themselves are gone. Yes.
And many cases too. Obviously, just here in our area, they've taken out some train lines and so forth. And there's always been plans about, I guess, putting that Staten Island connector or what have you out of Union County. I'm not sure how much traction that ever got to make it a light rail or something. I'm not sure, but
I think that's at this point is pretty dead. They are talking about taking that line along with the old Rahway Valley Railroad and making it into sort of New Jersey's version of the High Line from Summit down into Cranford and then continuing out toward Linden on the Staten Island Railway. So we'll see if that happens. They have a very small piece of it already in place in Summit, just maybe a quarter mile or so that's in place, but hopefully someday we'll see that at least be able to be used for foot and bicycle transportation. And that is one of the things, if you have a weekend and a bicycle, there are some great rail trails, former rail lines that have been converted into trails in New Jersey. There's one that starts in Highbridge in the south and goes up toward Long Valley and such that is wonderful, called the Columbia Trail. You could even take the train. Well, you can on a weekend take the train out to Highbridge and just connect there. But it is very scenic and One of the nice things about rail trails is they are old rail lines, so they don't really have high elevation. You don't have to climb hills because trains don't generally do well with hills.
Right.
So it's fairly easy biking to travel along some of those.
Yeah. And even heading out to this Gladstone branch is fairly picturesque.
Oh, yes.
As you maybe get into the fall time frame to head out that way, and even heading out to Hackettstown too is always kind of a fun ride. And again, like you said, that's always a fun ride as well. Like you said, again, certain lines don't go as far as certain stops on the weekends, but just to get on the train and just go and get off and explore, and then get back on the train a couple hours later. Maybe pick a destination that you've never been to before. Let's say you want to head out to Mountain Lakes, and then you go and walk around the town and whatnot, or you come to Cranford, walk around the downtown, and you get back on the train and you head out. Even up onto the main line here. This connects onto the Port Jervis line for Metro North. Same thing with the Spring Valley line, with the Spring Valley, Pascagoula Valley line. So, there's a lot of interesting things on New Jersey Transit. And again, I'm not, taking anything away from Long Island Railroad as well.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, when you go Long Island Railroad all the way out to Montauk Point, I mean, that's a couple hours on the train, but it is a different experience than actually driving all the way out to the East End, which is, I think, kind of a fun trip too.
Yeah, certainly much more pleasant than sitting in traffic on the LIE and Sunrise Highway eastbound heading out to the South Fork.
Oh yeah, totally. Now the Long Island Railroad goes out to the North Fork as well, right?
Yes.
Goes out to-
Northport, I believe, is the last stop on on that line, and from there you can just walk over to the ferry to go to Shelter Island.
That's right. Yeah, that whole North Fork of Long Island is a whole. I mean, you don't even realize. First of all, you're still in New York, and then second of all, you don't realize you're on Long Island, in the busiest metropolitan area on the planet. But it has very New England kind of feel to it once you get out east. But again, taking the train is just a different way of experiencing your travels instead of burning gas in the car. And same thing, with all of our friends with Metro North as well. They do a lot of upstate travel. Up I don't know how far Metro North actually goes.
Poughkeepsie is the northernmost stop on the Hudson line.
And then
Wasatch, I think, is the most northern spot on the Harlem line.
Okay, and then the New Haven line takes you all the way up into, I guess, New Haven, right?
And you can even go further east on Connecticut's rail line, and they now also have trains that go from New Haven up to Springfield, Massachusetts.
Wow. So rail travel, it's getting there. I mean, it's been there for quite a while. You just have to get out and really experience it. Like I said, it's completely different. It's just a whole different, situation, and I think it'll be kind of interesting as well in the future to maybe take Amtrak out west, and try to connect the dots from New York to Chicago, and then heading out to Los Angeles, and then even along the West Coast too. I've always thought that would be a very interesting trip from Seattle, Vancouver, and then come down into Los Angeles and the Southern California. I always thought that would be a very fun trip for a couple of days.
Oh, definitely. It's a different way of seeing things. You get a different view than you do through the windshield of a car, and you don't have to worry about the other drivers. You can spend all your time looking out the window, maybe catch a nap, do a little bit of reading, whatever you want to do, not have to worry about crashing your car.
Totally. Exactly. Yeah. Now with some of these rail trips, Bernie, I mean, are some of them set up, do I dare say, like a cruise where you can get off and then the train will wait? I don't think so, right? It's like you're kind of on your own, or would you have to just wait for the next train, like the next day kind of a thing?
Yeah, it obviously varies depending on which line you're on. There is something that's kind of like a cruise in Western Canada. The Rocky Mountaineer, I believe, is its name. But it's not it doesn't exactly wait for you, but it's designed to be like a cruise ship. You're wined and dine as you're taking the train across Canada. We were on a trip a few years ago, pre-COVID, that was in Alaska. And for part of the trip, we were on the Alaska Railroad going up north. So again, it's just a beautiful way to see that part of the country that you don't typically get to see otherwise.
Oh yeah, that sounds like so much fun. Again, as a kid, I had the model railway, rail cars, and things, the model railroad, and the observation car was always one of the one of the favorite ones to get. Right, you go upstairs and have the entire kind of vista roof type situation, and kind of really get a glimpse of the Rockies, or where you were up there in Alaska. It just adds so much to a different perspective of how to see things and enjoy things. Kind of let sit back and enjoy the ride. Really,
Oh, definitely.
kind of leave the driving to the conductor.
Yes.
Or the engineer. I always get those wrong. Conductor, engineer. I think there is a difference, right? There's the
Yes.
conductor is the engineer is the actual operator of the train.
Yeah, he's the person that is
Okay.
running the train. The conductor, though, is his boss or her boss, depending on,
I see.
on who it
Oh,
is. But
interesting.
the conductor is the person that is the top
Uh-huh.
dog on the
Yeah.
on the train.
Got it. More kind of the captain of the ship.
Mhm.
To a degree. That's interesting. See what you learn on the Tri-State Traffic Show, right? And then when you watch back this, that's a secondary question for Jeopardy. And going back to the trains, obviously, in the news lately is this whole Hudson River Tunnel situation and all of that. Do we ever think that that's going to eventually go through? I don't know where the project stands. I don't know if you have any more information on that, but how much that's going to increase capacity, and will they, if they go ahead and do build up a new tunnel, will they still keep the old one in service and just refurbish it? I'm not sure what
There
the
was
idea
money
from that.
that was in the federal infrastructure law that was passed last year that does have funding for building a new tunnel and also rehabbing the old tunnel, as I believe. So it's not certainly initially going to increase capacity, because once they're able to open a new tunnel, they're going to have to close down the old tunnel to make repairs. It's over 100 years old, so they're going to have to do those repairs. But I think the big concern is they don't want to have some sort of a failure in that tunnel system, which would cut off rail service between New York and New Jersey, and obviously cause some major problems trying to get between the two states. And lots of commuters, as well as long distance train passengers on Amtrak, depend on those tunnels to get where they're going. And I can't hear you, Don.
Oh, there we go. Sorry, hit the mute button. I mentioned, over my career on TV reporting and traffic and stuff like that, the signals, I'm sure first of all, I'm sure there's probably certain parts of certain systems that probably still have some manual signals of some type. Whether they're all computerized at this point, I don't know. Maybe that's further west, I'm not sure. But, these computerized signals are, basically like they're literally what they are, computerized, and they're electronics and so forth, and the elements can certainly take their toll as well. When it gets super hot out, we do see delays on some of the train lines in our area, and then when it gets conversely too cold as well, they kind of like that sweet spot of the kind of room temperature to 40s and 50s. They're very, very finicky as far as what they like, but that's the thing, that these electronic signals, they control just about everything. If there's an issue with one of those, then trains are moving.
Yeah. And like you say, when it gets too hot, the problem isn't necessarily the signals then, but the rails can expand and contract. And that's what they're concerned with, that they don't want what they call a kink in the railway. So they'll usually put in a slow speed order to have the trains travel a bit more slowly to make sure there are no problems along the rail lines, the rails themselves during that. And then, of course, as you know, in the fall, we also have the problem with the leaves putting their oil onto the rails, and then the wheels slip as they're going around on the rails trying to get traction.
Yeah, those slippery rail conditions, can kind of really mess up stuff, for morning, afternoon, evening commute, and and so forth. But if you're just joining us now, this is Bernie Wagenblast, one of the founding fathers, the pioneers of shadow traffic back in the late 70s, and also a train aficionados. That's what we're talking about now, kind of the transit system. And he has a transportation newsletter. He's at transportationradio.com, also cranfordradio.com. We'll get into that in just another minute or so. But as we're still staying on the transit situation, the conversation, I should say, one of my favorite movies is The Taking of Pelham 123, the original. I didn't actually see the one with Denzel Washington and John Travolta, but the original one with Robert Shaw from Jaws and Walter Matthau and Jerry Stiller. It was interesting because it kind of really gave an insight as far as how the trains kind of work, the subways, when they're in the control room for the MTA and you have the MTA police or talking to this agency and back and forth, other than the only couple of train movies that come to was Silver Streak, but that was more of a comedy than anything else. But I don't know if you have a favorite train movie of any type, or maybe.
Oh, I probably do. Although I can't think of one off the top of my head.
It was just something that when you mentioned something before, I was like, when you talking about the subways earlier, I was thinking, always like that Pelham 123. I found it interesting because they're manually switching stuff, and you saw the board, with the lights, that they can't read, they can't find where the subway is, and it's from here to here, and then the little lights going across. I mean, just so analog. I think it's just, when this whole digital world of having that analog feel to it, I think it's just fantastic. Really, I like that idea of it's like a tangible thing that God forbid there's a light that was out. Someone's going to go in and, put a bulb in, to those signs. And actually, speaking of signs, the message boards, are there any left in this area? Like the old ones in Penn Station where they flipped there's a name for them. It's an
Solari boards, they were called.
That's what it is,
because
right?
It's named by the company in Italy that actually manufactured them. As far as I know, most, if not all of them, have been retired. The problem was it was very difficult to get parts to replace and fix those signs. But I think if you go to Penn Station in Newark, they had one there in the main waiting room, but they put in sound effects. So they make it look like the old Solari board, and it appears to flip, even though it's now electronic and not mechanical as it once was.
I wonder if we could get an app for that as well. There's something, I don't know. There's always something that I found very satisfying hearing those little things. I guess they were made of wood or plastic. I'm not even sure what they were made out of, whatever. But when they flipped over, I think it was almost like you heard the flipping of the update before you actually heard the announcement. So then if you're in Penn Station, you heard the flipping, and now you're trying to make a beeline for whatever the track is,
right?
Because you knew that there was an update coming, and if you had it kind of timed out right, you kind of pretty much knew that was going to be your train. And again, I don't know if you heard me earlier talking about the man, woman that was in the booth there at New York's Penn Station. I don't think they do that anymore, right? I think that's been retired as well.
I'm not certain of that. And I think the person that did that was actually an Amtrak employee, because Amtrak owns Penn Station.
Got it.
And
sense, yeah.
I'm not sure if they still have that person there, or now these days they just depend on the boards. But it's important to still have some sort of announcement, because those who might have some sort of vision impairment can't see those signs. So to have them be able to hear what's going on is very important.
Very, very well said, and also keeps you employed too, because you need the voices for the subways and the air trains. I always found that interesting, because they always added some flair to it. Like it was just one of these, I don't want to say, dare I say, a mundane job, but sitting in a little booth in Penn Station in the world's hub of transit, other than Grand Central. And just running down the list of stations, was Elizabeth, North Elizabeth, Linden, Broadway, Woodbridge. I just found it so fun that he just put that little bit of flair. That would be a great interview if that. I thought it was a gentleman that was in there for a long time. If he's still alive, I think that we have very, very fun interview. I'm sure he's got plenty of stories to tell, the world about all that. And speaking of stories, Bernie, you have, you're a Cranford native resident, born and bred, and lived there all his life. And you've come up with this Cranford radio over the last number of years. Why don't you tell us something about that? Because I find it a really interesting idea to have a very local hometown radio station online.
The idea behind it was just to use some of my old radio skills in a different way. Podcasting was becoming popular. This was, say, around 2014 or so that I started Cranford Radio. And I interview a variety of different folks. It could be almost any topic that has some connection to Cranford, and just hear about what they're doing, how they got started, why they're interested in it, learn a little bit about it. To me, and I'm going to admit a bit of a bias here, being a radio person, that to me, audio is the most intimate medium because it's just you and the listener. Usually they're, quite often they're listening in their car or on headphones. So you're right in their ears. And the idea of radio being the theater of the mind, you can create your own images of what it is. It doesn't require your eyes to pay attention to it. But I try to interview everything from politicians to business people. Back in the day, you did an interview with Ralph from the Cranford Vanilla Bean Creamery.
Right. I forgot about that.
Cranford Radio.
Uh-huh.
But there are so many fascinating stories. There's only some 23,000 people who live in Cranford, but each one of them has an interesting story, and trying to bring some of those to light, I think, is one of the things that I try to do.
And I think it's such a, the local model of that is something that I think a lot of, at least from New Jersey, both living here and grown up here and probably will be here until the end, I dare say this so grimly, but whatever the case is, that New Jersey, for a lot of times gets underlooked at, really, as far as stories and things, just because we're between Philadelphia and New York. And we all know the radio station, but I'm not going to give them a plug unless they want to be a sponsor, which I doubt they will be. But we all know, and you have graciously garnered the airwaves of that station for many, many years as well. But, the locality of it, again, just trying to find out what's going on in your town is so important, and there's so many decisions that impact your daily life more than anything else than, it's happening right, 2 miles from your home, and just trying to figure out and find out what's going on, local government, or there's an event, or even for traffic wise, we both know Cranford has numerous street fairs during the year and different other events that are happening that's going to close off roads and so forth. So, the idea, the model of the local radio, I think is just, is just really a fantastic thing to have. And again, as we're speaking of radio, getting back to your EMS, emergency management type background, a lot of towns now have, radio stations that they have up and running. Can you kind of tell us something about that? I doubt very many people even know that there is a way to get information, from some of these local radio stations that are usually on AM, right? I mean, that's usually kind of where they kind of hang out and broadcast from.
Yeah, they're very low power, 10 watts or so, and they only broadcast for a short radius from where the antenna is. But usually they'll have emergency information. Unfortunately, I think a lot of towns have let those go because people weren't listening to them as much. And again, police departments depending more on app notifications and text messaging to let people know when there's an emergency or something that's going on. But it was one more way, particularly, say, in a town like Cranford, where we had flooding from time to time and the power goes out, your computer is no longer very useful because it needs an internet signal. So those stations with a car radio or a transistor radio, remember those with a 9-volt battery, you could listen in and find out what was going on that way.
Yeah, I used to put the little earpiece in your ear and whatnot and put the little transistor radio in your pocket. And you know what, to this day, Bernie, I still have...
Here's one.
There you go. I was going to say my radio's in the other room. But I've always had a radio that's got battery power because you never know when, you'll lose electricity or whatever, or you forgot to charge the cell phone and whatnot, and you need to get some kind of information. And that's why, hopefully some of these towns don't give up on these local radio stations, even though it's a loop and it's just saying, hey, you're listening to blah, 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 that, if something does happen that, that the government or the administration, whatever, will go to the venue and put something on, because you definitely is important. Again, in the case, like you said, with Cranford, with the flooding and so forth, I mean, you can't even get to your house, let alone your street or whatever. But if you have the portable radio on it, you're able to at least catch up and, kind of find out what's the next step, or, what's happening as far as the water receding and so forth. So I think those are, certainly all important tools in the entire basket of things to get the word out about a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Very much so.
And actually looking at your phone again, I remember those old, what do you call it? The fire boxes and things where you pull the phone with the police or whatever. You'd be able to call the thing. It was like on a blue light. And I think those are all long with the wayside, sitting in some museum along with the right next to the payphone, right? They're long gone. But let me ask you one last question before we wrap it up here. Anything on the anything new news on like the airports in the area? We know LaGuardia has got that new terminal and looks like it's getting some rave reviews. Our sponsor, Darley Newman, she was actually off on a vacation or traveling for the show. And let me see if I can bring up her. This is what she posted at Instagram. Here you can see inside Delta's new Terminal C at LaGuardia. I don't know if I can click on that. Let's see what comes up. Nope, I got to log in. So, but she gave it rave reviews as well, saying that really just an amazing job of the Port Authority, getting that up and running.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and LaGuardia was the original New York airport, before JFK was built. And back in the day, it was fine for its use, but it's been kind of squeezed in by development around the airport. So it's tough to make improvements to that. But from what I've heard, I haven't been out there since the new Terminal C opened. I understand it is very nice, a lot more sophisticated technology-wise. So hopefully it is going to be an improvement for the experience of flying in and out of LaGuardia. Newark Airport, they're in the process of building a new terminal, which I'm not sure exactly where that is in terms of when it's expected to open. And they're also going to be replacing the air train with a new train of some sort to connect all the terminals. So that will be another thing to look forward to at Newark Liberty.
Mm-hmm. Now, do we know what terminal is going to get replaced, or is it an addition? Because I don't think there's really much room to add another terminal. I think that's probably one of the. Sorry. Getting late. I don't know, for me early. I don't know what it is. I'm losing my tongue here, but I always get the confused. I mean, back in the day it was always A, B, and C, but I think there are 1, 2, and 3 now. I think they've gone to a numbering.
No, I think they're still one. They're still A, B, and C.
Okay.
I believe the new terminal that's being built is north of Terminal C.
Okay.
I think it's going to replace Terminal C, but again, I'm not positive, so I don't want to give out this information.
Sure, I understand. Yep.
But I think that was the one that they are trying to work on replacing and making something that, again, Newark Liberty International Airport, like many of the airports built before 9/11, so they had to kind of squeeze in all the security apparatus that came after 9/11, and that sometimes doesn't lend itself to a smooth flow of passenger traffic.
Yeah, that's definitely the case. Although I will say, traffic-wise for driving, Newark Liberty is one of the easier airports to get around than Kennedy and LaGuardia at the time. Again, I have not been out there as well at LaGuardia, but LaGuardia, again, maybe it was just because of the construction was just, it was every which way but loose. I mean, you couldn't figure out where road was going. And Kennedy Airport is another, that's not easy to get around either. Just the service roads and the actual roads in the airport are not easy. But at Newark, it's just you go around, and if you miss it, it's kind of like the circles in England. Like you just come back around again and come back around again until you figure out where you need to drop somebody off or pick somebody up. So it's a fairly easy navigation through the actual airport, which is great. Getting out to the terminal. And again, I, being a Union County resident as you, it still gets me that there's no signs for Elizabeth and Union County at Terminal A, Terminal 1, because it's technically in Union County. So I have gone to the county to ask for some signs and whatever. So I need to follow up with them. We'll see if that takes place. But they were very energetic and excited to maybe do something. So maybe that lends maybe we'll start to see some Union County signs for all of about maybe 1,000 feet or whatever before it goes into Essex County into Newark. But Terminal A is definitely all in Union County. And honestly, if it wasn't for, I guess, Union County making a deal with the Port Authority or, for the runway, there's no Newark Liberty. So got to give some credit to Union County in this whole project as well. Sure. It doesn't, I don't think, really gets as much love in that sense of it. And, frankly, even Newark Liberty, I don't think really gets as much credit or accolades for where it is and what it is, kind of picking up a lot of the, some of the alternate, the other volume from the other two, and it always gets me. And again, it's just a pet peeve. Maybe I'm just getting old, Bernie. I don't know, man. But it's when you come into Newark and they say, welcome to New York City, it just aggravates me.
Sure.
It's say New Jersey, you know. I would love it if the Port Authority would put something on the runway along the sides and say, welcome to New Jersey, and either say, have a picture of the state or whatever on the grass. So when you fly and you're looking out the window, you see that it says New Jersey. I think that maybe we should make a play for the governor, right? Maybe have him get on there, right? Make a proclamation or something as, New Jersey's official airport, or I don't even know what, but, as I digress and ramble on about things here in New Jersey, but that one's always got me, that when you land at Newark Liberty, they don't at times say New Jersey. And even honestly, again, even when you're out of New Jersey, they don't even mention it. So we were flying back and forth from Honolulu, the United flight that's the nonstop from Newark to Honolulu. And on the Honolulu side, it just says, nonstop service to Newark. Okay, well, can you say New Jersey? Like, I mean, can you put it in there? I mean, we obviously we're all getting on the plane. We know where we're going, but come on, you can say New Jersey. You can put it in there some way. You can put it in there. But anyway, I digress. But anyway, Bernie, it's been an absolute pleasure, my friend. Good to see you. This has been a fantastic interview. Hopefully we can do this again, maybe in the fall or whatnot. And let me just bring up your lower third there. Again, you can find Bernie at transportationradio.com as well as cranfordradio.com. Certainly subscribe, do that whole thing, and listen to his podcast about transportation. And again, get that local flair of those local stories that Bernie said for cranfordradio.com. And again, Bernie, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. I could probably go on for another hour or so about all the things transit and traffic. You're just like a historian, and again, a founding father of all of this. If it wasn't for you, I guess maybe I wouldn't have been able to do what I've been doing in the last 20 years, and probably so many others in this business. So again, a real pleasure, Bernie, and really appreciate the time, and thanks for coming on the Tri-State Traffic Show. Thank you so much, Don, for having me, and all the best with this new venture. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Bernie Wagenblast from transportationradio.com and cranfordradio.com. All right, Bernie, thank you. We'll talk to you soon. Take care now. See you soon. Bye-bye. Thank you. All right, so that's Bernie Wagenblast, as we said, from transportationradio.com as well as cranfordradio.com. Omo Don here in the traffic center went into a bit of overtime here this morning, and I just wanted to throw up, I don't want to throw up, no. We don't want to do that, right? I just want to bring up the comments here because Auntie Anna, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here, put the comments up, and I am going to bring up the maps here because it looks like the audio, the sync issue is starting to become a bit of an issue here this morning. So we will go here. We'll just put this up. And again, for the most part, traffic settling down just a bit. And I don't know why this is. There we go. We'll just do that. And let's do this. There we go. Just so it's just getting a little distracting until we get the new computer here in the traffic center. Hopefully it was pretty good there for our interview with my good friend Bernie Wagenblast. So again, we're kind of settling down, but this westbound 24 situation seems like it's starting to grow here with something going on. I think maybe some construction just west of the Short Hills Mall here out through the Madison area. All right, so with that said, let's go back here. We're going to wrap up things in about 5-6 minutes because I have to do a sponsor here. We're way behind, and I have to give another feed back into the Weather Center as well with John Rocco. So Auntie Anna says that during the hurricanes, this medium was vital. Yeah, it's just what she was talking about was the local radio stations that a lot of the towns have. And it's certainly, yeah, I totally agree with you, Anna, that it was absolutely vital during hurricanes as well as any kind of weather that certainly, happens here in the tri-state area. All right. So with that said, and speaking of weather, let's go to the Weather Center. I apologize, we're about an hour late. So Johnny's been so patiently waiting in the wings here in the green room to give us our latest weather forecast. And he has the exclusive 7-day weather forecast as well. So John, we're going to send it over to you in the Weather Center. Good morning to you, my friend.
Good morning again, Don, and everybody watching the show. Hope you're having a great morning because things are going to be changing as we go into this evening and even over the next few days. It's going to be a little bit on the unsettled side, but hey, look at the positive side. It'll water your gardens for you, so you don't have to do too much in the way of watering for this week. Starting out this morning, pretty decent. Some sun, some clouds, more sun than clouds in some areas. So bring the sunglasses as you head out the door for your commute. And again, the weather threats are looking pretty busy over the next few days. We have some showers on the way later on today, going into early Wednesday morning, then another round of morning rain Thursday. We get a break on Friday before more rain chances as we go into this weekend. So starting out with your commute forecast for the Garden State Newton, starting around 57 this morning, ending up around 62 by 8 o'clock. Trenton, the capital city, 61, getting to about 67 by 8 a.m., 62 for Camden, getting to about 67 by 8 o'clock. A little bit warmer there in Cape May, 66, getting to about 70 degrees by the time we get to around 8 o'clock. As we move into the 5 boroughs, Staten Island starting around 62. For the 7 a.m. hour, you'll end up around 66 by 8 o'clock, 63 in Flatbush, Brooklyn, getting to about 66 degrees there for the 8 a.m. hour. Hell's Kitchen in Manhattan starting around 62, but getting to about 68, so warming pretty rapidly during just that 1 hour period. Flushing, Queens, starting around 62 degrees, getting to 68 by around 8 o'clock. And as we go out toward Long Island, Westbury, Islip, Farmingville, you'll all end up, around 66 degrees by about 8 o'clock, as well as Shirley. Port Jefferson, starting around 63 degrees this morning. By 8 o'clock, you'll be around 68. Same for Huntington as well, on the North Shore of Long Island. And as we go into the Hudson River Valley, Poughkeepsie starting around 61 this morning. You'll warm up to about 66 by around 8 o'clock. 59 in Monroe, getting to about 62 degrees by 8 o'clock. And also a little bit on the cooler side in Patterson. We'll start you off around 59 this morning, getting to about 63 by the time we get to the 8 a.m. hour. Norwalk, Bridgeport, New Haven, Connecticut, all starting around 62 and getting to about 64 degrees there by 8 o'clock. Hartford, a little bit warmer there by the city, getting to about 68 degrees by 8 o'clock this morning. Waterbury, you'll start around 62 degrees, getting to about 64. A little bit cooler up toward Torrington there in higher elevations. We'll start you off around 59 degrees for 7 a.m., getting to about 63 for the 8 a.m. hour. So as we take a look at the forecast for today, again, we have more rain showers on the way for this late afternoon and evening. So you're going to want that umbrella for when you come home from work and school later on today. The clouds will be increasing throughout the day. Obviously, we'll get to about 77 in Andover, New Jersey, 82 toward Trenton and Cherry Hill. Central Park, you're around 77, 75 over toward New Haven, Connecticut, and Islip, Long Island there on the South Shore, getting to about 73 degrees. So yeah, a little busy here on the 7-day forecast. We have those evening showers later on today going into early Wednesday morning. Highs on Wednesday will get to the lower 80s for inland areas, a little bit cooler in the 70s for those shore locations as usual. There may be some embedded thunderstorms as well, but we're not looking at any severe weather over the next few days. Same thing for Thursday morning. It looks like we have a widespread rain shower event going on there Thursday morning. So rather than the evening commute being impacted for Wednesday and Thursday, you have the morning commute being impacted. So I'm sure Don will keep you updated on any weather-related delays on the show over the next couple of days. But we'll start to clear it up on the afternoon side for Wednesday and Thursday. Both days, again, around 80 degrees for those inland areas. Friday, we get a little bit of a break from the unsettled weather. Saturday, it looks like we're dealing with more rain, but the models are having a little bit of trouble with the weekend here. Some discrepancies on the timing of the rain showers, how widespread they are. Right now, Saturday, though, is not looking like a great day, but I'll keep you updated on all that. But that rain would keep us on the cooler side. Look at that. We go from 80 in Newark on Friday down to 71 on Saturday, and we'll warm it back up into the upper 70s for the end of the weekend and the kickoff next week. So, of course, we'll keep you updated on all of this here on the show and my social media pages as well. You can follow those for the latest weather updates. Have a great day, everybody, and drive safely.
Thank you, Johnny. You too have a fantastic day, my friend. We'll see you back here in the Tri-State Traffic Show Weather Center tomorrow morning at 7:15. But again, bring along that umbrella for your ride. And we thank John for the forecast here on the Tri-State Traffic Show. We're also sponsored by Travels with Darley. If you're unfamiliar with Darley Newman, she has a fantastic program on PBS Create, as well as on Ovation TV's Journey, Wonderum, and Amazon Prime. It's Travels with Darley, and she travels all around the world, giving you the best places to travel, adventure, best food, drink, the whole deal as far as what some of the great destinations there are around the entire globe. She is worldwide. We'll call her Miss Worldwide, right next to Mr. Worldwide with Pitbull, but she is Miss Worldwide because she is all around the world. And that sounds like Lisa Stansfield, and yes, it is. Going back to 1990, right? So there's Travels with Darley. And again, if you are unfamiliar with Darley's program, which I hope you are not, but there are some that may, here's just a little bit of a clip from Travels with Darley.
Hi, I'm Darley Newman, exploring California's Central Coast at an elephant seal rookery.
Even I was surprised at what you can discover when you ask a local to guide you through a new destination.
Okay, this looks a little dangerous.
Yes.
Wild to be in an ice cave in North Dakota.
In North Dakota.
Maybe deep in your soul, there's a spot that remembers how it was back in the villages.
From a classic American road trip to a national park with presidential ties, we're exploring California, North Dakota, France, Virginia, and beyond on a brand new season of Travels with Darley.
Able Stever. I guess you gotta be a little hardcore to come out and do this trail.
North Dakotans are hardy people, and the Mattahay Trail represents that well.
It's fun. I'm not sure how I'm getting back. I'll just ride home like this.
So that's a little idea of what Travels with Darley is all about. Again, PBS Create, Amazon Prime, as well as Ovation TV's Journey and Wonderum. Check out her wonderful show. This is her website, darley-newman.com. You can find more information on Darley and where she's going to be next. She also does a lot of live events as well. I believe one of her next live events, at least with the Smithsonian Associates, is coming up in August on Destination City. She just did the most recent one on Santa Fe, which was outstanding. This one's going to be on St. Louis. So that is certainly something we'll keep you on top of here on the Tri-State Traffic Show. And we'll let you know, and we'll hopefully get some tickets to give away to that show as well. But there's Darley's website. Puts a lot of great information about traveling and different blog posts and so forth. So again, that's darley-newman.com. Also, please follow her on social media. She's very, very active, especially here on Instagram, and does a lot of stories throughout the day, numerous times. I think Dar is on a little vacation or doing something for the show here. It looks like she was leaving out of LaGuardia. I think she's in Florida, actually, in Disney World. There we go. If I paid attention, I would see the spaceship Earth behind her there. So she's having a good time there in Disney World in Orlando, Florida. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of other stories she's going to post about the park. I think she was actually in the Frozen ride, which used to be called the Maelstrom, for the Norway and the parade of countries there throughout World Showcase for Epcot Center, but they've turned it into a IP, as they call it in the Disneyland talk, an intellectual property, or it was something like that. They own it. We'll just put it that. We'll put it that way. So that's why they turned it into a Frozen ride for the kids. But be interesting to see if she goes on the Guardians of the Galaxy, the Cosmic Rewind, which has got an awesome soundtrack. So be keep an eye on her Instagram page to see if she goes ahead and posts some more things about Epcot. And again, she's very active there, so give her a follow there. Also follow her on Twitter as well. And we thank her for being a sponsor of the Tri-State Traffic Show. All right, so it's been a very, very big and action-packed broadcast, as Auntie Anna says. Put myself back on camera here this morning. Yeah, full of surprises and love it. So Anna, thank you very much for watching and commenting here this morning. Again, you can like and subscribe the YouTube channel as well as our Facebook page, and we're also on Twitter. So leave a comment there. We're just about the 3-hour mark. I don't know if I got anything left in the tank to go for another 7 minutes to make it 6 minutes here. So, we'll just hang in 6 minutes. Anybody who's watching out there, go ahead and throw on a comment here. And we'll talk to you in the next six minutes or so. We're going to head up to the top of the 10 o'clock hour. So a little overtime. It was so good to see Bernie. I haven't seen or spoken to Bernie in quite some time. Again, he's just an aficionado of traffic throughout the the entire area. He's just so well versed in so many things with transportation. And again, like what we were talking about, transportation really kind of is what kind of runs the entire area. I mean, you're always looking for traffic. You're always trying to figure out whether the trains are on time, right? Or the planes, or wherever you're going. It's always something in the back of your mind that's you're trying to just keep an eye on things. And it's always a thing that's going to cause a problem here. So I'm just going to take myself off camera because I think that lip sync issue is starting to get involved here as well. So I'm just going to stop the camera for a minute as we get up towards 10 o'clock. But this westbound side of 280, the only reason I show you this is because there's definitely something going on here on Route 24. I'm sorry, not 280, it's 24. Let's just quickly put this in play here. We'll do a quick whip around the area of what the deal is here this morning. So we got 19, a vehicle fire south of Elizabeth Avenue and Elizabeth. 2 left lanes are closed there. That's a problem. 80 emergency construction, the westbound ramp to 57 at Route 19. 57 is closed there, but nothing on Route 24. I would imagine, if I had to take a guess, that is going to be some construction, but let's see. Excuse me. My voice is cracking for talking for 3 straight hours, and let's just see if I can find it. Anyway, we don't have time to get involved in that, but I just wanted to take you to the cameras to see what that vehicle fire was doing. That is in Elizabeth. So we want to go to 1 and 9. Again, we're going to go for the 3-hour mark, and that's going to be in 3 minutes and change. So again, please like, subscribe, do all that social media fun stuff. Let's head over towards 19. There it is, 19 tour. We want to go into Elizabeth. So I'm going to go first at Maple Avenue. See if what we see here. Yes, there it is. Wow. Okay, so looks like a pretty bad crash here with this box truck, and we've got EMS on scene this morning. So what direction was that? Oh, I just lost it. I thought, let's wait till they widen it up. Okay, so it's heading northbound, just getting across the Elizabeth Avenue viaduct here out by Maple Avenue. So you see this left lane is shut. Again, I don't think it's hard pressed to call it too much traffic behind it, but let's just do this. Let's just zoom out just a tad. We'll go to the Bayway Circle. Let's just see what traffic is doing there for backed up. Yeah, it's through the Bayway traffic circle. So I stand corrected there. That's traffic that's headed away. So that's a pretty tough ride. And I think they're actually going to probably close up 19 here for a second. No, we still have the right lane in service again. The right lane is open, so the two left lanes are going to be out, getting up into Elizabeth Avenue. So definitely a slow go there, which would be right in this area here. Let me get my bearings straight. So it's right in here. So it's just coming up through this section out of the Bayway Circle into that location. Again, it's going to cost you maybe a couple minutes, but everything is open, but the right lane is the only thing that is going to be getting by. All right, so let's go back to the maps here. This are the incident page. Let's stay with us a second. Let's just see what they're looking for. Yeah, so it looks like the fire is out. So the box truck is off to the right shoulder, and the ambulance looks like it's about ready to leave. So again, hopefully no one is seriously injured in this. But again, they potentially may have to close it off for a minute. But this is the situation in Elizabeth in Union County, home to Terminal A, Terminal 1 at Newark Liberty. So as I digress, again, for the 999th time for this show, let's go towards the city very quickly. We're coming up in 51 seconds of the 3-hour mark, so we want to hit that, right? We're already here, right? So broken down vehicle on the Sprain at Jackson Avenue heading south. We've got a crash on the Southern State going west at 15 in Hempstead. A couple broken down vehicles, one on the LI East past across Island, so that could tie up things. And then we've got another one, that's the secondary one out by Little Neck Parkway, so look for that. Let's run down Connecticut very briefly here this morning before we sign off. Looks like a lot of just the midday road work setting up and some delays on 95 still from 19 to 3. Can't seem to shake those delays out whatsoever for some reason. I don't know why, but it's a lot of volume being pushed there here this morning. All right. So with that said here, friends, we're going to put the camera back in service. Hopefully the lip sync is not too bad. And we're at the 3-hour mark. Yeah, let's give us some applause. All right, we made it. We made it for 3 hours. Very nice. Talking 3 straight hours with some minimal breaks there. So again, we want to thank John Rocco in the Weather Center for the great forecasting here. We'll be back with him tomorrow morning at 7:15. Also want to thank our special guest traffic jockey, the TJ, Bernie Wagenblast, one of the founding fathers of Shadow Traffic back in the day. So we appreciate Bernie's time. Always great to talk to Bernie. Again, as I mentioned in the interview, I could talk to Bernie for hours and hours on end. So yeah, so fantastic interview with Bernie. That comes up it was at the 8:30 mark. So if you want to rewatch that again from 8:30 to 9:30, we did an hour interview with Bernie. So once again, we thank him very much. Transportationradio.com is his website, along with CranfordRadio.com. And again, Bernie, thank you so much for joining us. Also thank our sponsors, Ralph over at the Cranford Vanilla Bean Creamery, CranfordVanillaBeanCreamery.com, located in beautiful Cranford, New Jersey, and Darley Newman. We thank her for sponsoring the show. Travels with Darley, and you get more information at darley-newman.com. So with that said, ODOT here in the traffic center, getting ready to wrap up things here after the 3-hour and 1 minute mark, the longest broadcast in the history of the show. So we thank you very much for tuning us in, Anna, Alexandra, my mother, and as well as Frank. Didn't get a chance to, you know what, let's just put up Frank's comment here, because we didn't get a chance to do it earlier in the interview. Great to see you. Thank you, Frank. Great to see you, my friend. And please join us back here tomorrow morning. And so we're going to wrap it up because I'm running slowly out of voice here. So again, thanks a lot for tuning us in here on the Tri-State Traffic Show, and we'll see you tomorrow, everybody.